You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
I sound sick. That's okay. The show will go on, dear listener.
I'm coming. What is this? How are we?
There we are.
There we are.
All right. Okay, I believe that Will is our DJ. Will, are you the DJ? Or am I out to lunch? Or what did you say? Cooked like a goose?
Your goose is cooked.
Weird phrase. Okay.
Goose is cooked.
All right, let's see what he has to say. Okay, we have a stream going on. Swans is my favorite band. My excitement for this is immense. Wait, but are you our DJ? No, he's not. Okay.
Well,
So we're gonna just wait for our DJ to arrive. I mean, he usually goes by Evil Pear. So, I just thought maybe
have his
sometimes
number?
people come in different names. Yeah, I'm talking to him on, well, I was talking to him on Patreon, but, you know.
is that new?
What? No. Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. Where are you, Gabe?
Hello.
I will get us back onto the righteous ways of metal tomorrow night at 9:30
With Slayer!
with Slayer, Killology, Trilogy, and more.
Yeah, he said he doesn't usually get the notifications for YouTube, so it might take him a minute. He was like, just give me a few minutes once we said it.
Unsubscribe and resubscribe if that's an issue for you, dear listener.
Right, sometimes that's what you can do. Yep, and that works in some instances. I wonder what the reason is for that. I'm sure it has to do with the algorithm, as they call it. Wow, I'm just dropping tea all the way across my lap. That's nice. Yes, I'll be very careful with this computer.
Background music is kind of loud.
My computer.
Background music is kind of loud.
All right, you guys. So what's new? Let's do a random Ask Me Anything while we wait for our DJ to arrive. Because why should we sit here in boredom when we can chit chat? I am looking for interesting music facts that are recent that we may or may not know about. I'm also looking for if any bands got in trouble recently. That's always interesting
Got
to
in
know
trouble?
or hear about.
Why would they get in trouble?
Sometimes they have issue with the churches and then they're back and forth, you know? So, like, Nurgle. I always feel like there's some, you know, well, did you see that one guy that, because for blasphemy, they were gonna, I think they said put him to death.
What? In what country?
Yeah, I took a picture of it.
In what
Was
country?
it Poland? It was weird. Let me just hold on. Where's my phone?
They can kill you for blasphemy in
I
Poland?
thought it was
Here.
crazy, but, yeah, hold on.
What kind of tea are you drinking?
It's black tea, but it's like an English tea. But I like to put, screenshots. Where are screenshots? I like to put brown sugar and cream in it as well, so.
Sorry,
It's delicious.
why are the
Okay.
Beatles the greatest? Because I said so.
Well, that must be Dwayne. Right here. Oh, Iranian, sorry. Court sentences pop star Tattoo to death for blasphemy.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's Iran.
Yeah, it's still crazy.
How's it crazy?
Killing people for blasphemy. It's just, sometimes like, well, I know what it is. When
So you
it was in the
disagree with the Old
80s,
Testament?
when it was in the 80s, we didn't live in the Old Testament. So that's so far removed from the way that we live life. But like in the 80s, you had we're going into like the next, like when the 90s rolled
Here's
around,
Gabe.
everything seemed like it was like we were on the edge of like this boom of everything just like blowing up and like living in the Jetsons world. Like, do you remember that 90s feeling?
Yeah,
Like CDs
yeah.
coming out, no more cassettes.
DVDs.
Like, it definitely felt like it was a separation from the younger generation. But yeah, it would, I mean, anyway, our DJ's here. I was gonna go on a big giant, you know, whatever, but.
Apparently Opeth, for whatever reason, released this album this year. I think Opeth is still
Relevant?
terrorizing people
some
all over
people?
the world.
Vin?
All right, let's go. Song numero uno.
Okay, shout out to our DJ, Gabe, also known as Evil Pear. Tonight we are doing a stream just for him. He is one of our patrons, has been with us for a long time.
100%. He's an OG.
He sticks around and he stays on the same tier for a number of months until he gets, so he can do a stream. It's a great way to...
Everybody's got their own little
it's
things.
It's like, I don't know if you guys remember this or if this is just too old, but if you guys remember like Layaway, they were done with that by the time I started having kids. I was like, they should have brought that back. That was such a nice thing. But yeah, so we got lots of people that do that. That's also another way of getting the stream done. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
Dwayne, it would be
have-
great if you would message me once in a while.
He just likes to complain.
No, he wants to be my pen pal. I'm like, well,
Well, that's what he says. But
But
then he
doesn't-
sends no messages.
And he sends no messages.
Hence, he likes to complain.
I'm not complaining though.
No, I'm talking about Dwayne.
Oh, Dwayne, yes. Oh, you're on my
I
side.
was on your
Oh,
side.
you're finally on my side.
Okay, so what we have here is a whole night of Swan. This band was formed in 1981, and let's see what Gabe has to say about it. He says, sorry.
Oh, the band was formed in
Please
1981?
read this before playing the first song. I shall. Yes.
In all caps, no less.
Yeah, I think people think I forget things maybe or miss
I'm
things.
pretty sure we forget things all the time.
Because you've never reviewed this band, Swans, before, and it could go totally off the rails, I want to look back and I want you to look back and I want to remind you of some of the good times we've had. Remember that David Foster Wallace speech? That was fun. How about the Midnight Mass watch along and Radiohead night? What made that reaction even better was it seemed to make most Radiohead fans mad. They didn't like the song selection or order and tend not to like anything. I've requested every single King Gizzard and the Wizard song you have reviewed.
Oh, he's the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard guy?
We went adrift in the ocean with YOB through a subtle change with the rivers of Nihil and watched Eddie Vedder sing about his father with the song Release. So till now, things have been great. For real though, this is a really tongue-in-cheek as I expect you to like the music. Or at least the lyricism of band Michael Gira. When asked to explain why he chose the name Swans for the band, he said it best described the sound he wanted, stating swans are majestic, beautiful-looking creatures with really ugly temperaments. Oh, really? I didn't know that either. They never show that. Michael Gira is a real character. One of their trademarks when they started in the early 80s was playing live at painfully loud volumes, sometimes leading to police stopping the shows. Gira was also often confrontational with the audience as he would step on people's fingers that were resting on the stage, pull people's hair, and sometimes physically assault anyone caught headbanging? What? Something
what?
he detested. That's crazy.
Pull people's hair and sometimes physically. The people that were headbanging
Yes,
to his
because
music?
he detested it.
All right, so I'm not going to headbang at all. 'Cause I
Yeah,
don't want
hold
this guy
that
to
back.
remote
This
view and fuck me
reputation
up.
was a contributing factor to Gira retiring the band in 1977. Since their subsequent reformation, Gira has made a point of maintaining the same intensity of their live shows, stating that it is at once soul-uplifting and body-destroying. He has also sometimes turned off the air conditioning before Swans performed and compared the experience to a Native American sweat lodge.
Oh
This
my
guy is
God.
wild. Anyway, he said, I
Oh my
hope you
God.
enjoy the noise.
I wish my man Larry was here.
Okay, so the
Let's go do
band
some
is
shit, boy.
Swans. The name of the song is Power for Power. This is from the album Filth. And here we go. I already sent you the lyrics, so I'm ready for that timestamp as soon as you
Alright, so
are.
song number 1 is Filth.
No, Power for Power. It's
Power for
from the
Power.
album
Okay.
Filth.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. What a crazy journey that intro was.
Very, very interested to hear this band now.
Okay, and there's no headbanging. That's going to be all night. This entire night is this band. So if that's the stand you're going to take, you have to stand with it all night.
Oh, wait, is it all night?
All night it's this
Well,
band.
what if he does some real heavy shit?
You're going to have to either stick to your commitment or not, Vin.
Alright, well, let's go. Song number 1.
You choose.
Swans, Power for Power, let's do it.
I haven't decided if I'm going to headbang or not. I'm going to let the music decide for me.
Starts with the bass drums like that, and that's supposed to headbang? Okay. Oh no.
It's interesting
We
because
were muted, I think. Okay, we're good now.
it's interesting because when you think of the word doom, like that sort of like.
Oh, they're a doom metal band.
No,
That's
I don't know.
That's the genre?
Oh no. Okay, I thought we were speculating. I didn't know we were looking for some actual facts here. I don't know. Gabe, help us. Are they?
As I was saying, because we were muted. As I was saying, I saw the first 2 lines of this, and I thought she had messaged me something. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, that's cool.
He's like, that'll be an interesting discussion.
Yeah, and then the song comes on, and I said, oh.
He realizes the discussion is for here.
It's a this
with
discussion.
our friends. Okay. Yeah, so I thought that we're still waiting. When Gabe lets us know, can you just
Gabe
announce
lets us
it?
know what?
I want to know what they wrought Doom.
Not Doom. Read my
not
last
Doom.
comment.
Yeah, I don't think I wasn't saying that they were Doom. What I'm saying is I think
Okay,
when
so
you think
they
of
were
the word
part
Doom,
of the no wave movement, early Swans records. The intention was creating rock music that was devoid of blues influence, and I'm thinking Chuck Berry riff influence. Oh, okay. So you try to basically just try to take all the black stuff out of rock. I'm fucking with you. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. So they were trying to do something truly unique.
Mm-hmm.
Truly unique. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so go for it.
Wait, why are you saying they were trying to do something truly unique?
Because they're trying to do rock music without blues influence.
Oh, okay. That
Right.
doesn't. For me, I don't really understand what that means.
It's basically the scales and all those things that we
Yeah.
do is metal.
Yep. They were
If you
trying to
just
go with
look at the
something-
blues and jazz, all we did was turn it up and turn up the distortion. Basically.
Oh.
See what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So the basics, especially in the Western world of what we think a good rock song or metal song is, it's really just, recapitulated blues stuff. I mean, Korn, they had, they had that rhythm, they had the funk. A lot of people were calling Korn funk metal.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really understand until I lived with my brother. My brother's friend was a giant funk guy. And so, he would be blasting his funk music the whole time. And, the way they did the timings and, the rhythm, I was like, oh, that's where Korn got it from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, I understood why it was called funk metal. And, funk is hard. When you metalize funk, it is really cool. It's, Dime was like that. He would the attitude that he had with that was all
yeah.
that's like a funk type of thing.
Oh, okay.
When they play, you feel like a,
Like a little attitude.
Yeah. In 1983, this must have been crazy. Yeah, I bet. I mean, it's
my
not
word. I
it's
didn't even
not
think
as
of
accessible
that.
even now in 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And 83. That's when all the hair bands were coming out.
Yeah, I guess that's
The
crazy.
dudes were more beautiful than you. You know what I'm saying? I was watching it behind.
Simple.
I was watching behind the music thing. I'm like, damn. I said, that boy's really attractive, boy. I was like, wait a second, what's going on?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Scary. All right. So so musically, I understand that the word doom means something in the music world, but when you think doom without knowing what it sounds like,
is this a doom?
you think of this sort of heavy doom. It's ending. It's very doomy like that. But
why
that's
are
not
you
what
talking about doom though?
doom.
I know.
Oh, because I think that the sound, when I think of doom, and the word doom and what I think doom sounds like, as in just a word.
Right, but
that has a sound.
did he say that they were a doom
No,
band?
he said they're not. And I'm just saying,
Oh.
I think that when I think of
I
what
see
I
what you're
thought
doing now.
doom was gonna sound like, it would have been like this.
Yeah.
It just has that heaviness, you almost can feel it in the air. It's so heavy.
It's oppressive.
Yeah, it's a very
It's very oppressive. Which I think was the goal.
I agree.
See, he said, I'm going to oppress these people today with these lyrics, nigga.
I agree.
You're going to take this work. By the way, who is CK? Who is CK? What do you call it? Applejack. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, you can start, and then I'll jump into it.
Well, sonically, I love bass drums like as an intro. I love that stuff in metal. I wish it was used more often. The 80s guys used to do it, and then it would veer off into something really poppy. It took me a very, very long time to get the rhythm. Like, there's some bands where you have to get the rhythm of what they're doing or get the idea of what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, okay, this is like some sort of intro or something like that. See what I'm saying? That's why I
didn't
said
realize it was song 4.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like, it seems like something that you would like, especially lyrically, you're like, okay, this is programmatic, meaning like we're gonna see ideas like this like repeated throughout. So as an intro, it worked, but as a song, it was killing me. It was killing me. I was like, the fuck? What are you doing? What was going on with you?
Yeah, no, I said it definitely had like that heaviness, but we can jump into the lyrics. You can start with the lyrics. I just thought like I think a lot about music and how things affect us. Like I love getting out in nature and just like experiencing like the physical world. And just like listening to the sounds and stuff. So like I don't know, like hearing this one, it just felt like you know, like you hear like a native song with those drums or whatever, and you almost feel like, I don't know, even if you don't have any roots in it, like something in you feels drawn over to it.
Yeah.
To me, there's like some sort of spirituality. I think that there's probably spirituality in every song, probably, because I don't think that you can separate the divine from anything. But maybe I haven't really thought that out completely. But anyway, I thought this one carried with it an oppressive spirit. Like we've talked before, body, soul, and spirit is what a human being is comprised of. So obviously we're hearing it with our bodies, but there was like a spiritual something that was like really heavy that you could feel as the song like kind of went through. But yeah,
I mean, lyrically he's saying use sex for control, use power for power. And I'm not sure what the difference is between control and power. Maybe you say control is an exercise of power, so it'd be like a subcategory of power. You have to have power in order to be able to control something. Mm-hmm. But I guess you could say control is like active power, because like a person technically could have power over their children, for example, but their kids are out of control, so that's possible. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, but who's using sex for control? I think that's almost exclusively a female attribute.
Using sex for control?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I find it hard to believe that a dude would use sex for control over a woman. And either way, that's definitely not 50-50.
Well, okay.
It's
when
definitely
you say
not
control,
50-50.
I guess I don't. When you say control, like I know like girls that will be like they really wanted to be with the guy and the guy would just show up just for sex, and the girl thinks, okay, they're gonna stick with me now, like because that moment is so intimate and there's, you know, your body to body, something's going on, so you're thinking, okay, now this is the time that it's gonna actually get good for us. But then the person leaves again. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking control it kind of would keep the girl waiting around for them. But I guess that's not really definitional necessarily. I've seen control get in like sex. It gets used, I think, in lots of different ways.
You've seen dudes use sex for control?
No, I was switching to the female aspect of it because I'm going to hear more of like women's discussions about it, not men's discussions. But the control about it was the thing that I said. Women don't discuss
using sex for control?
No, I'm saying women do. I'm not speaking about the men because how would I know? Like
that's what I said. What I'm saying is like this is almost exclusively a female. That's a y'all thing, isn't it?
I think that yes, that can happen. Yeah.
It can happen?
Yeah, it just seems like it sort of seems like happen? When the people are first together that sex can be used for control because the guy really wants that with them. But then I think that as like time progresses, like I think that if it just really depends on which party, because people don't always stay sexually attracted to each other for the duration of their marriage. Sometimes one of them falls out with that attraction and somebody keeps going with it. And so if there's a situation like that, like the person that doesn't really want to do it kind of holds the control because they can, set the, I mean, I've heard of people setting schedules and everything. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that's out there, but I mean, that's not the direction I would have taken the song. But I'm going to talk after you talk, so go for it.
I mean, I thought that one was a pretty much the easy slam dunk. That's a female thing. I've never run into a girl who's ever complained to me that her boyfriend is using sex as a control mechanism. I've had people complain about that, but it's almost exclusively a female.
Yeah.
A female
like I said, when I was looking
reasons.
at the control, I was saying that aspect of it for a man, but I don't think it really fits in the category as much as the way that a woman could use control. But then I think, like I was saying, once the people are together for a certain amount of time, like, I've also seen the other side where the girls are saying, like, yeah, he's
what?
Getting it somewhere else, obviously, in his apps or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
the other thing is, I wasn't really looking at this in the relational sense. The song doesn't really communicate anything about relationships.
No,
it's just talking about the various categories of power and how to use power in the world. It looks like.
Yeah.
He was your friend, she was your friend, he was your friend, she was your friend, they were wrong, they were wrong, they were wrong, they were wrong, turn against them, sex, power, money, hate. So it just looks like all the ways that, which is really, really interesting because that line that I just said in verse 2 is like the internet right now. Like...
Use power for power?
Well, he was your friend, she was your friend, he was your friend, he was your friend, they were wrong, they were wrong, they were wrong, turn against them, sex, money, power, hate. It's the way that now that these alliances can get recalibrated. Like, if you look at what's happening politically right now, it's like people are drawing all these lines and all the rest of it, and they're making decisions about people in their family. I just covered this on Middle America. People are making decisions about family members as to whether or not to speak again based on how they voted. So it's like this to me like has some sort of like dystopian world where all the relationships are actually drained of anything organic, and everything is looked upon from the vantage point of who has the advantage over the other. Power, control, sex, money, don't let it go. Sex, power, money, and hate. So like none of these things are the only real relational word that you see there is hate. You know what I'm saying? So it looks really, really dystopian, and if we didn't have the internet, it would kind of be like more metaphorical. But now that we have the internet and we have everybody's in these different camps.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I was listening to, I think it was Majority Report. And the Majority Report, Sam Sitter and all, there's a lot of pseudo-intellectuality over there. Like, it's like, whatever. But they did talk about this thing that Peter Thiel and the rest of those guys, and it's interesting to me because when I listen to Majority Report, I'm like, they don't know Douglas Wilson. Douglas Wilson is like the brain. He's a brain. He's a brain behind all of this stuff, and they have no idea. Over there in Moscow, Idaho, like the dude started. I'm not gonna say a cult, okay, but like he pretty much has he's got that state, and he's not an elected official. I mean, it's incredible. But basically, the idea was, they're talking about like network nation building. So it's basically the nation state model was that everybody's occupying the same piece of land.
Okay.
So everybody on this piece of land is an American, and then boom, here are the rules or the whatever that we impose or the benefits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And boom. And he's saying because of the way the internet interconnects everybody now, the landmass thing is not really the demarcative line. The line now is because we have the internet and we've got people all over the world.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we talk about tribalism, right? So we say like, hey, get outside and touch the grass. Get outside and talk to a real person. Your friends on the internet are in an echo chamber, blah, 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 blah. So get out and, whatever. And they would say, well, yeah, that's the nation state model. Like, go out and touch real tangible people. But what they're saying is, yeah, the tribalism is good. And if we can get 50 million people that identify with these core principles, that is our nation. So no matter where you are, you're part of this nation. That's your identification. So it's no longer the physical, which of course is extremely dangerous, because if you get 50 million people together and they say, we want to buy Wyoming, they're going to be able to buy Wyoming. I mean, Douglas,
That's crazy.
Douglas Wilson is already, I mean, he's pretty much the Pope of Idaho over there, Moscow, Idaho. Like, it's crazy. Like, he does the State of the Union. He rates the governor. Like, it's insane. And they have to deal with him because he's so influential over there. And so what they're saying is lean into the division in the internet. And then everybody that's in our tribe, we're going to focus all of our money. We're going to focus all of our whatever. And then then the land thing becomes secondary. So when you look at it that way, it's like, yo, this is crazy. Because you would use sex for control in a nation state, in the sense of, look what happened with China with the one-child policy, right?
Yeah.
So the one-child policy would be a byproduct of sex, right? So the child is the byproduct of sexual activity. But if you lived in a sort of world where it was like, we have to have children now in order to make our virtual tribe bigger, right? So that we have more people than you know, the virtual Marxists or the virtual whatever. And the Marxists, they're so busy sharing everything, but they're not going to have any real power to buy up the land like we would be able to. See what I'm saying? And the idea is, by the time people figure it out, it'll be way too late because they have way too much power. Right. So obviously Sam Sater and the rest of those people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking of.
Okay, I see where your mind went. For me, like, it was such an obvious song. Like, sometimes when you almost see, I think that wisdom is seeing the beginning of something and being able to see to the end of what it will become. So it's the seed that becomes the giant tree, but knowing that the seed, given time, given nourishment, given what it needs, will become that tree. And so you kind of see stuff like that everywhere, like when you're looking for it. So when it says, like, use sex for control, like, the song itself, like, it almost felt like what this type of advice worked out would leave you with, that feeling that it was. And so when it's like, use sex for control, like, the sex obviously was created by God, and it's one for procreation, but it's also, it's a way for two people to know each other completely. And it's one of the ways that kind of sets a marriage apart from other types of relationships, is because there's a different type of knowing that you can have with each other when you have, like, that space together. So there's understandings about God, each other. There's a lot of different things that comes out of it. But when you're body, soul, spirit, you can hit holistically all of those points in a sexual relationship that's right. So that's pretty cool. But he's saying use sex for control. So he's like, throw out everything that it's good for and actually use it to control people. So you take something really good and then you use it as a mechanism for destruction. And then he says use power for power. Like, there's verses in the Bible that talk about, like true religion is to visit the fatherless and the widow in their affliction. Yeah. So, like, a lot of times people think, well, true, like, to you got to go to church and you got to put money in the plate when it goes by. But Jesus is clear, like, the Bible is clear, like, it's taking care of people that are weaker than us and making sure that other people are good. So when he says use power for power, and then he says use hate for freedom, I've seen 100 times out of 100 that when hate is used for people to buy themselves freedom, all they do is push out the effects or the understanding.
I don't even understand that line. Like, what do you mean using hate to buy freedom?
Well, it's like when you you hate somebody, and you're, because of the way that they've hurt you, and so you want to hate them so much that you don't feel that hurt. So you can hate them so much that it gives you some sort of a freedom, but you're using the hate as the dam that's holding back that. And I guess I'm just seeing, like, more and more that, like, okay, so you've got the water is for purification, And then you have God's spirit hovers over the face of the waters in Genesis. And then you have this idea of wisdom in everything. And so you have the water again. Like, I don't know. Like, when I look at this and I think, okay, hate for freedom, power for power, like, the purity of everything is getting lost in the way that these things that could be really powerful get used. And then he says, use money for cruelty. Like, our money should be used to, again, take care of people that are weaker than us. And it's so simple, because the Bible says you should love people the way that you want to be loved. And it's so easy when we're in a situation to be like, I can't believe nobody's helping me in this situation, as if people would just walk by when I'm in this situation. But when you're not in the situation and you're busy rushing to work and that person is on the side of the road as a homeless person, like, you forget what maybe that person might be feeling. And so, like, this song, it was like, it just seemed like this was another thing too, is Joe Rogan was talking about that he thinks that interdimensional beings are after, like, so they're like, they want to get something from us. And it kind of, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, maybe they're drawn to negativity and fighting and anger and, like, you know, sex for control, power for power. Like, they're drawn to those things. And so the more that we do these things, the more that it kind of like creates an environment of death for everybody around. I don't know. When it says that part, when it went into he was your friend, she was your friend, they were wrong, it just seemed like it was just like so evil, as it was just like being breathed out and said. And it was like, it starts, sometimes you can have those voices that kind of get in your head, and you have to realize that just because a voice is in your head, it doesn't mean that it's your thoughts or it's your feelings about something. Sometimes that just happens. And, you know, like, people have different interpretations of why that is. You know, I believe the devil is real, and I believe that his demonic forces are real. So I think you get a thought inside your head, it might be coming from your evil heart, and you need to square that with God. But it might be coming because there's some evil thing after you, you know?
Yeah, it's really interesting hearing these people talk about experiences they've had with these beings. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a demon, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, but if we don't call it a demon, and if we talk about quantum physics, and we talk about superstring theory, which is dead, but now they're trying to bring it back. Like, if we dress it up in post-Aristotelian, you know, psychobabble, now all of a sudden it's okay to believe that there are evil beings who can communicate telepathically, that are in different dimensions that cannot be seen but reveal themselves to certain kinds of people. Now that's okay to believe. So you get hell put up. I mean, look, I'm quoting the experts in this. A lot of people don't even, this field is not going to get popularized probably till another 5 to 10 years. But like, if you're in the community, hell put off all these people. These are like super brainy people. These are people who are, you know, at the edge of everything. But because those groups of people say, yes, there are beings that are interdimensional that we cannot see, that phase in and out of our dimension, because you have the multiverse theory and all the rest of it. When people say multiverse theory, it's like, okay, thank you. Now, what you're saying is that there could be an entire system of life and matter or whatever that runs parallel to our system that we don't have access to, that somehow they do, where they can go back and forth. So now, but if you call it the multiverse, now it's okay to believe. If you call it the demonic realm, oh, nope, that's religion. If you call it heaven, nope, that's religion. It's like, okay, I believe in the multiverse theory, that there are beings that inhabit the multiverse that can phase in and out. Okay, we'll just call it that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's funny to me. But yeah, when I was listening to this, I was like, this sounds like the influence, like the when you think about demons and evil people, you really understand this when you start going through training and things like this for various intelligence organizations and things like that. But subtlety is always the goal, right? Like, so for example, like if you look at the movie Inception, that was one of the big things about the movie, was like, there's a seed of an idea that gets put into your head, and then when you go under, the thing germinates in your imagination, and then you get stuck in there. And I was like,
watch that movie again.
I was thinking about, well, I was watching it after, you know, I said, oh my God, like that's what's happening. Like not the way that Inception does it. Obviously, it's a hyper dramatized version of that. But yeah, there's a lot of things where it's like, it's a lot about subtlety. And so like, use sex for control, for example, runs the gamut from like funny to we could destroy the world this way. So like,
what do you mean funny?
Well, for example, there's a husband and a wife are squabbling, and the husband is like trying to angle for something, but the wife really wants, you know, to go out or whatever. And then, you know, the wife gets a text that says, just use sex as a bargaining tool so we can all go to this thing together. That's kind of funny.
I see.
And then there's,
I see, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it can, there's a spectrum where it could go to something really funny and, you know, whatever, to something extremely dangerous and whatever. And that's true for everything. So, like, conceptually, lyrically, I was like, damn. But the vehicle by which that message was driven was horrible to me.
I mean, yeah.
It didn't go a lot of places for me.
It didn't. But again, that's what these ideas are not going to get you very far, except into a place. It's just going to be, exactly what the song sounds like is what you're headed to. So that's kind of like my new philosophy is, okay, whatever you want, you have, you know, people say like, make yourself a board, envision it, and all these different things.
Yeah,
like,
your vision board.
I do kind of see what they're saying. Like, I think that you have to say, that's my goal, and you have to pick a point that you're headed toward, and then you have to say, okay, now what am I going to do along that road to get myself to that goal? You're not going to become a new person by tomorrow. There are certain things that you have to do and set realistic goals for yourself to get yourself to that point that you want to be, whether that's you want to be kind of a person of better character, or you're trying to get a job, or you're just trying to get out of bed in the morning and do something with your life. Like, whatever it is, you got to set a goal for yourself and then start taking small steps to take ground and get back there. But I do have one verse that it made me think of too, was 1 John. I've always been kind of a fan of 1 John because it simplified everything and made everything really like, this is good, that is bad.
Yeah.
And I like those sort of lines. But it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof, but he who does the will of the Father abides forever. So that, it made me think of, because he was talking in the song about, you know, we have the discussions about control, which could be, you know, fed by fear. Control could be fed by pride. There's lots of different things. And then you have, you know, the sexual control, which would be, you know, probably under the lust category, and the power. And so I just thought, like, that's why those are the things of the world, and it's clearly worked out in this song. Like, I just thought it was perfect. And I definitely thought, like, it's not my style. I would never play this song again. It was, like, yeah, I felt like I could, like, cut through it.
It's a 5. It's a 5 for me.
I don't like the song. I would never listen to that again. But I'm gonna go with a 6.7 because it accomplished whatever. I gotta hear more songs by them because I want to know if this is their all-around style or if this is just something they were doing for this song. But yeah, so you give it a 5. I'm gonna go with a 6.7. And sorry about the super long review, guys. We will be right back after these messages.
Well, he was saying a lot.
I know, yeah.
He was saying it in a way that you gotta have to unpack. Commercial break, we'll be right back. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at instory@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSory. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sory and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch, indeed it shall lead them. No, we already listened to that song. We're going to listen to another song very soon.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener.
So,
I got it, we're good.
attention everyone. I Am the Sun is up next. This is the band
Same band,
Swans.
right?
Yep, all
Okay.
night. All night we're going to be doing
Swans in this bitch. Mm-hmm. Hey, Gabe, do the Swans have a gang sign?
Okay, let me just make sure. I just want to make sure it didn't put any like advertisements. So they're like, also you'd be interested in this band, and that's in the lyrics. Okay, I sent that to you. Now I'm about to.
This one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go into that now, but I just want to make sure we had everything. Let's see what he has to say. Oh.
I kept thinking that these guys are all like natives, like Larry, and indigenous, like Dwayne. Because it said he made the Sweat Lodge comment, so ever since I had the Sweat Lodge thing in my head, I'm like, oh, this is a Native American.
Oh. Yeah, or maybe he just like stacked the sweat log thing on there so he could just do that to the people. He's like watching people.
See the difference between a sweat lodge and a
show where everybody's
sauna.
Jumping around. And,
no, what's the difference between a sweat lodge and a sauna?
Well, I thought a sweat lodge is like out, and it's not like a sauna that's plugged in.
No, you go in and then they put the heat in there and.
Oh, you mean the steam one?
It's a sweat lodge, yeah. Like it's a lodge. It's
like a big. That's what. Yeah.
It's not outside. You have to go into the thing.
Yes, but it is a building in and of itself, not like a little addition to your gym.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the difference is. I mean, as far as like what it does to your body.
Yeah, I don't know either.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, you guys.
People die in those things, man. Like.
Yeah.
You got to build up to it.
I'm honestly surprised nothing happened to you in it because you kept going in there and.
I was in there.
Don't even tell them. That's not even good to put out in the ether. Somebody will copy it and.
Yeah.
Vin is like a cat, man. He's got 9 lives, so. Well, you don't want to try these things.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. You're probably right.
Okay.
Go out there and do
let's
destroy their bodies. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, so 54. I'm gonna go with 55 on that. You've got the lyrics, and we're good to go. We can start this song. Let's check it out. Let's see if it sounds the same. Are we gonna feel the depression?
I Am the Sun. I Am the Sun is the name of this song. Swans is the name of this band.
Got it. That's
Gabe
what it
is the name
is.
of this DJ.
Gabe,
I'm
Gabe.
Vin. That's Sory. Let's do this
up?
shit.
Let's go.
Right now.
Woo.
Timestamp 55. Okay, that was song 2. Song 2 was, I'm going to call it I Love Everyone, but that's not really the name of the song. I love everyone.
No, it's not called I Love Everyone. Okay.
I love
The name of this
everyone.
is I Am the Sun. Doesn't it kind of sound like he's...
Yeah, don't you headbang. Don't you do it. Yeah, I'm a little bit paranoid because I'm looking around like motherfuckers going to try to...
Yeah.
Wow.
Look out.
That's not that Jeet Kune Do. Did I show you that Jeet Kune Do video? Oh my gosh, it was this girl, and she went 60 on the dude. Like literally, she was changing levels. She was like,
really? Wow. Did she get him?
Yeah, she fucked him up.
Well, once in a while.
They're not like the most effective in the world, but the sheer volume of it, if you get caught,
Yeah, in that
if you get caught up in one of them things, it's over with.
I bet.
But like real shit, that only worked for one guy. To be honest with you, that was Bruce Lee. The Jeet Kune Do stuff is just Bruce Lee, but people think that because he did it that they can do it and all the rest of it.
Well, you know.
Okay.
You know how that goes. To me, the song is about it. They definitely had. It's a different sound than
Was
the
this in the
last
same
one.
record? No, it's
No,
not on the same
no.
record. Damn it.
No, this is. So it had the same like this heaviness to it.
Gabe,
but
is this
not
guy still alive?
The same, not the exact.
'Cause I don't want to say I want to do a John Lennon type interview with this
Yeah,
guy.
good
I
question.
genuinely want to talk to this
Good
person.
question, good
But
question.
go, keep going.
Okay, so
I am the sun. I am the sun.
81 though. Was this the one that started in 81?
Yeah.
So that'd be.
Yeah, they're
he'd
probably
be pretty
gone.
old.
They're probably gone.
Yeah. Okay. So to me, this song was about something as like great and amazing as the sun that gives us photosynthesis, that makes the trees and stuff grow, but it's also killing a kid because a kid is now dying of thirst or starvation. And then. So I kind of thought it was like that because it was like I thought it was just like the sort of the effects of the sun, yeah. But there were a couple things that didn't really fit in with that. Like, I am insane, I crawl into your mouth, I grow like a flower, I grow a suicide. I don't know. What are you getting from it? Because I actually thought I had the whole thing nailed, but then it says...
What was your basic premise?
My basic premise is just that the sun, like, I live inside your chest, I grow like a cancer because the sun causes cancer. So it's this beautiful, unbelievable, amazing thing that we could not live without, and yet it kills us, it kills children,
Okay.
So that, like, that's that whole concept.
What year did this record come out?
This one is 95, I think.
95? Okay.
This says, January 23rd, 1995.
I am the sun, I rise above the world, and when the light goes out, I kill another child. And I am insane, I crawl into your mouth, I grow like a flower, I grow a suicide.
That part, I just didn't know what it meant.
Well, again, it looks to me like an Inception type idea, where you plant ideas into people's minds, and then it germinates into something. So he says... I crawl into your mouth. I grow like a flower. I grow a suicide. See what I'm saying? So it's something subtle.
Yeah.
When he says I crawl into your mouth, that means like he a full grown man, right, is shrunken to the point where he can be consumed.
Yeah.
Right? And how do you do that? Well, you do that through the music because you're consuming his music.
Yeah.
You're ingesting it.
Yeah.
Well, if you ingest suicide music, right? What's going to grow inside of you?
That is
the irony
awful.
is emptiness is going to grow inside of you, right? And the emptiness in the state of nothingness. So like
expanding black
he can
hole
hollow
inside
you out, and then that the end of that would be suicide.
That's
Now,
terrible.
It doesn't mean that he thinks that he's really doing that, but
well, that last song could drive somebody to do something crazy. If you ask me.
He's operating from the principle. See, this is one of the reasons I want to talk to this guy, because it seems to me that he has a very keen understanding of how influence works. Like there are theories on influence and theories how to get people to do X, Y, and Z that our government has spent a lot of money and a lot of time studying. Ideas of persuasion and things of that nature. Because when you are a growing empire, and you want to maintain control, you have to, just almost reading from the slide verbatim, you basically have to learn from the failures of other empires. And one of the failures is that they extended themselves too much with direct military force instead of using a combination of the two, of psychology and a military force.
Like,
so for example,
like a bit of kindness with the military?
well, a bad example of psychology working with military would be crucifixion. So the initial idea was, if you go into a city and you see all these dudes lined up on crosses, you're gonna be, you're gonna understand, like, do not fuck with Rome, just pay your taxes and keep it moving.
Sure.
The problem is that when you start creating these colonies, like close to where the Gauls were and all the rest of it, you start building these colonies, so it's basically like a little Rome over in, you know, places that are hundreds of miles away from Italy.
Okay.
And you start crucifying folks, you're a minority because you're in a colony, right? And eventually you're going to run into somebody that says, I don't give a damn if you crucify me or not.
Yeah.
I'm a man, I'm going to die as a man.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? And that's why all those people in Masada, they all had that suicide pact. So they all killed themselves. And so it's like, you have to learn from that and realize that you can't just go there and do that if you have the brute power. It's a better thing to do is to create a terrorist attack, blame it on somebody else, and then come in, and it just so happens that the Americans have all the resources you need that just happened with this terrorist attack. So now these two people are fighting each other. I'm coming in as the American. I'm just here to give aid. I'm giving aid to this group. I'm giving aid to this group, even though I got you guys fighting each other. Then I come in as a third party. I'm a good guy, right? So that's one example of like how you can exert influence over people with ideas, with just a thought, right? And so it's a lot less of a and now with the way the media is and things of that nature, that's why it's like people are like, oh, the American empire is declining. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it really, really isn't. All of this stuff, like what we're dealing with now, and economic fluctuations and things like that. At the end of I mean, you saw what happened after COVID. The COVID was kind of like a reset button, and there's only one nation that came out above water, and that's the United States. But it's the top 1% who are feeling that boom. We're gonna feel it in like a year or two, and Trump's gonna take all the credit for it. And it's really just a lot of these things are, you know. So it's things like that where you get really, really subtle. Like, it was our guy Anthony Fauci, right, that was doing the gain of function research, and it just so happens that this horrible thing happened, and then the guy that we didn't like, he's now gone, and we could. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, would we have a guy like Joe Biden as president? I mean. Right? Yeah. So now you got that going on, and you got COVID going on. The whole world hits the reset button, and then the Americans emerge as the strongest ones, and all the rest of it. So, yeah, there's a lot of real subtle ways that America operates with, and that's learnings that we've gotten from other people, but. It's one of those things where it's like, you look at the sun, it's like the sun is the most worshipped creature in creation.
It's interesting you call it a creature.
Yeah, I know. People usually attach sentience toward creatures, right? And I'm not certain that the sun is not sentient. So, I'm probably somewhere between Hoffman and panpsychism. But my point is, the sun is like, it's the focal point, it's everything, it's superior. And obviously when you're a rock, the sun is a what? The sun is a star. And you become a rock
star, right?
So you are the sun. And so, like, I do think that you can have a effect on people the way that the sun has on people. So I'm the sun, I rise above the world. You're a rock star, people put you on a pedestal. And then when the light goes out, I'll kill another child, which is really interesting, because if the sun really did go out, it would kill everybody. And then it says, "I love everyone," and I think that's a really interesting line.
That could be one of those references to. Remember how everybody was blaming the bands for the suicides?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's some of that going on there as well. And the sun shines on everybody. So if the sun is up, it's up. If it's a beautiful day for you, it's going to be a beautiful day for your evil ass neighbor too. So when the sun says, I love everyone, there is a real practical sense in which that's true, because the sun is like non-discriminatory in who he blesses, right?
Yeah.
And so...
He causes the rain to call the just and the unjust alike.
Agree. I love everyone, right? So, I am the dog, I cut out my eyes, yeah, I will nullify my true love creation, I am the sun, I love everyone. I live inside your chest, I grow like a cancer. Yeah, so he's...
Yeah, I see it. I got you.
Yeah, and it's an interesting connection between the band and the fans of the band. It's a very, very weird relationship sometimes, because there's these people almost deified, but they're just regular people.
Yeah.
But the experience of the people that they're influencing is not that way. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just it's very interesting. I like this one a lot more than the other one. This one's getting a 8.4 from 8.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. This is a solid 7 for me.
What were you getting out of it?
Well, like I said, I thought we were talking about
Holy shit.
the effects of the sun.
I have been looking for that song for 10 years. I didn't know what band it was.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
You serious?
Daryl, we are so glad that we were able to work with Gabe to bring that to you. Wow,
and
okay.
Sorry.
That's right.
Hey, gang.
Shout out to Gabe for bringing it to us. DJ Gabe.
Shout
Yeah,
out
no,
to
I
DJ
mean, for
Gabe.
me, I just, I was thinking about, like, the sun. And I was thinking about how it does all these things to take care of us, but it also has the power to kill us. And so why would that whole thing of why would God do that? Like, why would he, without the understanding of everything was in perfection until the fall. And then when people tried to get wisdom outside of God, then they got thrust into a world of now you have to figure out wisdom for yourself. And
good luck.
That was a difficult path. So yeah, I was thinking about that, like the sun in all of its glory also can destroy. And I think about that a lot of times when you're hearing about people not having enough water somewhere else, and then you're like walking around and you see somebody like washing their car, and it's like, it's always troubled me because I'm like, well, I mean, if you asked that person that was washing their car, if we can flick this switch, it's going to help that family over there, but you can't clean your car. I think 99% of the people are going to flick that switch. But there's
to help
something
the other people?
to help the other person. Yeah.
I agree.
But I think that we're so disconnected while we're so connected through the internet, where you're saying, like what you said before, like it's bringing people together and making groups within groups. Like we're getting closer, but we're still super disconnected, where we should be able to bridge that gap.
Agree.
And the gap of the validity of the people or the company or the business that is distributing the funds to be able to give people food and water. We just have too much at our fingertips, and people can hack into the craziest things, and yet we can't figure out water for everybody. Really? I don't know, man. Anyway,
I mean, water's a pretty complex thing. It's
if
not
we
easy.
wanted to,
It's not something we can generate.
no, you have to. They put in wells. You go in there and drill wells for people and stuff. Can you imagine how many wells would have been drilled if we didn't fund that war in Ukraine?
Yeah.
We've just wasted so much money and just let people die. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just, like, the more I see it, like, it's as simple as everything comes down to there is material stuff, there's human beings, there's animals, and there's insects. Like, human beings are number one. We got to take care of the planet. I do think animals, you shouldn't be abusive to animals and stuff as such, but yeah, man, we love ourselves.
The Bible threatens you if you abuse animals, so go on and do it. You're gonna have to answer for that too. People think it's a game. It's not a game. We will see you on the other side of the break, dear listener. Vin out.
Sorio, actually, wait. You know what? You remember the Tower of Babel? When
Yeah.
they were building it,
Yeah.
and then God came down and said, "Look, if we don't switch up their languages,
Nothing will be impossible for them.
Are you telling me that what we have with the internet right now in translations, that he said they would be able to accomplish whatever they wanted to, and that was way back then. So how about now, when we have the internet and we have resources way more than they had back then? Or it just seems like we make excuses not to help other people, and we shut our eyes to the suffering of other people, and we're comfortable with it until we're forced to see it, or we get faced with our own fate, and then all of a sudden we're like, hey, gee whiz, it's horrible to have to suffer. Anyway, we'll be back.
Other side of the break, commercial break. We'll be right back. I'm Ben.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of Alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Ben-and-Sorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
That's right, guys. Give me a second. You did.
Scary.
Look, the camera is gone.
What?
I'm just messing with you. I'm just kidding like Jason.
Because we never have those kind of issues and that.
Talk to the people.
That could be stressful.
Talk to the people.
Okay, guys, we got Swans, Helpless Child up next. This one is a 16-minute joint, so
16 minutes in the bitch.
sit back. If you have a long song like this and want to get it reviewed, just let us know. We do have a special tier for you. That is still an option, even if it's a long one. Okay, so we've got the lyrics.
Special tier indeed.
Lyrics
the tier
were
between
set-
heaven and hell.
Oh,
Go ahead. What are you saying now?
01:18. Let's
Oh, you
go.
time-stamping a joint?
Yep. I'm ready when
Bench
you
in
are.
here? You said 18? It's actually 17.
Child. Yeah, but I figured by the time
So I'll
you
just wait
actually
till
get it
18.
up there, it was going to be 18. That was my...
You want to go earlier rather than later, right?
Well, I was going to change it if it's not up there by then.
Helpless Child. Here we go. You got the lyrics, right?
Mm-hmm. I said to.
This is 16 minutes long. Strap in. Strap in, losers. This is it.
DJ Game, y'all.
different
was
than the other
an
ones, too.
experience. That was an experience. All right, what's going on with you? Looked like you thoroughly enjoyed the song.
Yeah, I did. I just thought that, well, it doesn't feel like one song. It actually felt like two, in that it had the lyrics, you know, helpless child. It sort of sounded like a mother and son toxic relationship where she's got drugs and she's using him.
Yeah, I took it as America. I took the mother to be like a country. You know, the motherland, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the whole, like, I'll be... Now you will be the stranger and I'll be the white-skinned son. You'll blacken my innocence with sugar and opium. Mm-hmm. This kind of sounds like America right now. As everybody's, you know, fucked up. Everybody's addicted to sugar and various drugs of choices. Mm-hmm. And you know, you be the mother, I'll be the fool. I'll hide myself deep inside your crimson pool. Mm-hmm. The muddy water runs between your folds. You won't let me breathe, you won't let me go. It just looks to me like it's something that you could say about America as a nation. Especially, you know, I'll be the white-skinned son, you'll blacken my innocence. You know, because it's really interesting, like on Twitter, now that people are able to say what they really think about stuff. It's very interesting to watch. Like,
really?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you seeing?
Well, people just coming out and saying, you know, the country belongs to us, the country belongs to white people, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
You weren't able to say that, you know, in the other regime.
Uh-huh.
And for whatever reason, people thought that was a better alternative. Like,
just take my thing down. Don't worry about it.
I would rather know what people actually think, you know, versus, you know, the alternative. But yeah, like if you look at America as kind of like a mother, you know, because you always talk about the motherland or whatever. If you look at America as like a mother, but like an abusive mother, it kind of makes sense. The children were suffocating down in your damn cave, and you were the mother. I was a sleeping slave. Protect me from violence. Hold me in your cool lips. You'll drug me with kindness so I can pretend I exist. You know, I think he means like exist as an individual instead of just a cog in a machine, which America kind of turns you into, especially if you...
Wow, okay.
If you really understand what's going on. You'll drug me with kindness so I can pretend I exist. Now you be the only child. I'll suck on your breast. You'll feed me with gasoline. I'll burn my name in your head. What year was this come out? Scroll down. Scroll down.
I can never tell where it is. There it is. 96.
96. What was going on in 96, 95? We didn't really have a lot of... I think we had the Bosnia thing, Herzegovina. That was winding down around 96. I'll burn my name in your head. And then it says... Wait. See, I'll burn my name in your head is the last one, right? See upcoming rock shows, get tickets for your favorite artists.
That was the part I was trying to remove, but I didn't see it.
It's just some commercial at the end.
Yes,
so I'll burn my name in your head is the last thing. Because you'll feed me with gasoline.
Yep.
which America, you know, that really became a talking point after 9/11. Our energy dependence and all the rest of it. I don't think he's talking about that right now. But it looks to me like, what's the name of the song again? Motherless Child or whatever? Helpless Child. Yeah. Yeah, it looks to me like he's just talking about the America as a nation per se.
Okay. Yeah, I went full on with the drug references there, and it, you know, obviously reminded me of different people when we were kind of in that world helping.
Well, yeah,
people,
opium
I
and
guess,
sugar.
you know?
I mean, sugar. The same receptors that help you enjoy opium are the same receptors that help you enjoy sugar. And so
I see.
Yeah, so it's a drug of choice.
Yeah, then when it went into that instrumental after, it was so immersive, but it felt
It definitely was immersive for sure.
Yeah, it felt hopeful in a sense, which I was surprised because the other two songs from him have been like, they felt like it was gonna suffocate you in the room.
Yeah.
And then this
Yeah,
one,
he's really good at creating that kind of an effect.
yeah, this one it seemed like it kind of opened up a little bit, like sonically, as in you didn't feel like you were quite so tight in the room. Even though lyrically, I thought it was a really horrible thing happening, but it could be what
did
you
you
were
think?
saying.
What did you think was happening actually?
I thought it was, you remember how there was those people that their mother would sell them for a hit. So I thought it was one of those, or a situation where the parent is being abusive. In this case, the mother. She's all high or whatever. I don't know what happens to people on opium. So I didn't know if she was forcing the kid to do stuff with her. Usually, you hear of men doing that with kids in these types of situations, but this one happens to be the woman is.
I didn't see
so
that
I
in
thought
there
that's
at
what it
all.
was.
What are
Yeah.
you talking
Now you be the mother, and I'll be your fool. I'll hide myself deep inside your crimson pool. What is her crimson pool? The muddy water.
How did you
runs
interpret that?
beneath your folds?
How did you interpret Crimson Pool?
Her vagina. The muddy water runs beneath your folds. You won't let me breathe. You won't let me go. Now you'll be the stranger, and I'll be the white-skinned sun. You'll blacken my innocence with sugar and opium. So I thought that she was, like, doing this to him, and then she was blackening his innocence. And then the sugar and opium, I didn't know what the reference necessarily was. Like, some stuff like, we'll say a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. I didn't know if sugar was combined with opium somehow. But I see what you're saying, like, it's this... Yeah, maybe it does have, like you're saying, like the sort of America thing, but also the, I don't know, you'll drug me with kindness so I can pretend I exist. See, it just sounded like an abused kid to me, like.
Well, yeah, and if the mother is the nation, then that tracks, you know.
You know what I was thinking, that creation has so much wisdom in it when you look at how it's broken down, and then you think how wisdom is called a woman in the scriptures.
Yeah.
And then people always say Mother Earth. Mother.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, the wisdom
When people
of...
talk about Africa, it's a motherland, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just... But that second half was just crazy. Like, you just... I don't know, like I said, it felt hopeful. It felt like it was kind of going somewhere, and I liked it. I was surprised.
Well... Part of me is
sound.
like, did I like this because I genuinely liked it, or
Right.
or is it because it's more conventional?
Yeah.
This is the most conventional song they had,
Right.
with
could be.
accessible scales. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this like, okay, I'm gonna do all this weird shit, gonna get all the blues and shit out of metal, but once in a while we got to give the people something that they can, that's like immediately accessible.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Protect me from violence. Hold me in your cruel lips. You'll drug me with kindness so I can pretend I exist. Now you be the only child. I'll suck on your breast. You'll feed me with gasoline, and I'll burn my name into your head.
Yeah,
Good
see, it
night.
just seems like it's this...
Yeah, it's definitely a sick relationship, whatever kind of relationship you're talking about. But go ahead, what do you got?
No, yeah. Yeah, it kind of seemed like this back and forth thing.
It seemed that the mother was saying this to the kid, though, where he says, now you be the only child, I'll suck on your breast. So that sounds to me like
he's telling his mother that, yeah.
Well, he's telling his mom to be the only child?
I thought he was flipping the roles on her, and it was getting to the point where now maybe he was stronger or something, because he says, now you be the only child, I'll suck on your breast, you'll feed me with gasoline, so then she gets back at him, I'll burn my head in my name in your head. Like, it just sounds like it's just start to finish just a really toxic relationship. But yeah, maybe it's an America thing.
Well, it's interesting because if I'm right and the mom is saying this to the child, that's an inversion of the natural order. The child is supposed to suck on the mother's breast, not vice versa.
Exactly.
But if you expand that out to be a national thing, it makes sense. Because the people who are leading us, who are civil servants, are sucking us all dry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they're leeching off of us, taking our money. I do not like in any way, shape, or form, and I never will, a guy like Elon Musk having access to all this stuff. But when you see, like, they're publishing stuff every day, $17 million for this, $60 million for that. It's like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like, we were just getting robbed, like, bad.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
But we can't get water around.
I don't have any design, or I'm not under any delusions that Elon is some, like, wonderful person. I don't trust dude at all, and I wish Trump honestly would
wise up,
shut him up and get rid of him to a degree,
Move
or at
him
least
away.
work in the background.
Move him away. Yeah,
work
back
in the
him
background,
up.
bro. Ain't gotta be all, you know.
Back him up beyond the mosh pit.
But it shows you, like, yo, they were G'ing y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all was we were getting
Yeah.
worked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think all of us knew we were getting worked, but it's just like crazy to see, like.
Yeah, when you see the proof of what you thought you knew, it's
Chelsea,
like, oh, really?
Chelsea Clinton somehow and USAID ended up with $84 million. Like, this shit's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just that's a lot of money, man. Wow. Yeah, so I really like this one. This one was my favorite out of the three. I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna go with 8.7 on this one. But again, I don't know if it's getting a higher rating because we just listened to those other two, and
It's
this one was hopeful.
Yeah.
A little bit there.
It's absolutely
And,
that. You know, which is smart. It's aware, because it's like, word of this avant-garde band with different kinds of scales. It's like, yep. But it's like, you still have to be accessible to people. People still have to, it's good enough to where, you know, obviously I'm doing a lot of thinking. We're still, you know, a month out from, you know, Trump getting sworn in or whatever. And so I'm thinking a lot on a national level, and listening to all the different ways that people are currently interpreting our reality is so fascinating. Because you do have groups of people in the country that embrace and it's really interesting because the Republicans, they'll use terms like nanny state.
Yeah.
Right? And that's in like, oh, you're trying to help people or your welfare, or that's the nanny state. The government's job is not to be your mother and be your nanny. And it's that kind of phrase is designed to make people go, man, I don't need no nanny. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass woman. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm not. I don't. You know, obviously for me, like, we're American Protestants, and so it's like, we're not very good at, like, being ruled by anybody, or you know, interpreting the government in any sort of maternal or paternal way is completely antithetical to American Protestantism. Like, the minute you say that about the government, an American Protestant's gonna be like, okay, and you're out, you're evil, you're horrible, because they don't look at it that way. But for most of human history, they were spoken of as basically the mothers and fathers. The government was spoken of as the mother and father of the nation. As a matter of fact, if you look at some of the European confessions from Protestants, actually, they would say that, you know, the commandment, honor your father and mother, is applicable to the government.
Wow.
Church government and
Are you
secular
serious?
government. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't think it's crazy. You can get there logically, obviously. But it's very, very fascinating because the country was founded on us giving the finger to authority. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, if that's how we started out, how can you then switch back and say, the state is now, you know, our mother and our father? I grew up with the opposite thinking. Like, obviously you're black, you can't trust the state, you can't. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when you, like, come into some sort of political awareness, you start to see these people talk about, you got one group of people that say it's the government's job to help everybody and make sure everybody's good. You got another group of people who say, no, it's the job of the government basically to make sure that we don't have anarchy and order, but other than that, get out the way. It's, you know, laissez-faire capitalism or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got these two people, and it's like, I'm not certain that the paternal or the maternal interpretation of government, I'm not certain that that's not true at some sense. Like, if you look at the way Kyle Kulinski, when Bernie was running, and I try never to make fun of people when they're crying over a political issue if they're being serious. But he was crying. He would do a Bernie Sanders commercial and he'd cry because
Why?
I think it's because Bernie had a very paternal energy to him.
Yeah.
There were two
he
there were
did.
two specific moments. There's one moment where this guy just basically said, "I'm nothing but a burden to my family," because he had cancer or whatever. He's like, he basically said, "I'm gonna finish myself after this meeting." But I wanted to say thank you, blah blah blah. And Bernie was going to another topic, and he stopped and he said, "You're not going anywhere. You're gonna see me after. You're gonna see me after this, and you're not going anywhere." And they did. They went off, and he wouldn't let the camp. It was a genuine moment of, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And Bernie kind of has this curmudgeonly thing, so the guy stopped him in his tracks, and you could tell it hurt him. Mm-hmm. But he had, so he's like, "You ain't going nowhere," type of thing. And then there was this other thing where a camera, and it really was, I genuinely believe this, people say whatever they want, but he was sitting down holding this woman's hand, and she was like crying and explaining what was going on. The kid had leukemia, some crazy shit. And he said, "We're going to help you. We're going to help." And so the camera caught it, and somebody put it up on Facebook. And, people always going to be like, "Oh, that was the camera."
Yeah.
I believe that he really is like that with people. And so...
what's so sad about that? Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's just so sad to hear, okay, so that's 1-2 people that their story just happened to get out there in the public eye so they could get help. But we have so many people in that situation stressed out because they have no money to cover these things. Like, this Medicaid for All thing is crazy that we don't have it. Like, the fact that people are sick, people lose limbs, all kinds of stuff happens.
His dad died. It was interesting. I was listening to Crystal, and she was saying that Kyle's dad couldn't get to see him get married to her because he died, and if he would have had insurance coverage, it's very likely that he would have at least been able to hold on to see his son get married. And so,
that's crazy.
Kyle is so, and he's not talking about this. I didn't find that out till years later that Kyle's dad was in the middle of all that shit. As Gabe is saying, if he was crying, that's probably why he was crying, because his dad was dying. And it was one of those things where, it didn't have to happen that way, or it could have bought him another year or 2 or 3, which...
You would have thought that Kyle would make enough money to get him some insurance.
I mean, those things are very, very expensive, especially end-of-life stuff. And a lot of dudes wouldn't accept that from their kids anyway. I wouldn't accept it. You know what I'm saying? Your son is young, he's starting out in his life, he's starting to do something for himself, and he's supposed to put out X $100,000 so that I could live for another year or 2. Ridiculous. I would never do that to my kid. But it was very interesting watching Kyle because, and everyone was making fun of him because he'd get emotional. But I thought to myself, yeah, you can make fun of him if you want to, but we're all sick in the head. If you see somebody and they're crying over something beautiful, and all you could do is mock it, it's because something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's your fault, which is, I think, the point of this song is we've all been abused psychologically by our parents. If you interpret that, did you go out and get that?
Yep.
Mashallah, come here, boy.
Welcome.
That's such a good boy.
Thank
I love you.
Intermission.
That was good. Thank you. But Kyle. But the point was, Bernie had it was interesting. It was a paternal, when he was one-on-one, he was extremely paternalistic. When he was out there, he was like, "The millionaires on the billionaires," and the curmudgeonly thing. But then, he was mad at the millionaires and billionaires because he loved those people. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? And you can agree or disagree with politics and all that. And I trust me, I get it. But to me, those are genuine human moments from them. I believe in it. And I might be stupid. He might be the greatest politician of all time, Bernie Sanders. But I really believe that he felt a moral responsibility for these people. And even when Bernie had a health scare in 2020 with his heart, and his first thing back on Twitter was, "Yeah, I had a problem with my heart. I mean, that comes with age." But he was like, "I've got the greatest health care in the world. So it really didn't affect me. But if it happened to you, some of y'all be resting in peace." It's just man, this guy, he's got a one-track mind. And I also see the same type of vibe with Trump supporters. There's a paternalistic. I was watching Tulsi. Tulsi was saying, I had this kind of image of Mr. Trump and whatever, and I was just going to grin and bear it because, you know, it's for the good of the country. She said, you can never, she said about the women, he never says hello to you. The first thing he says is, what did you have to eat? He says it to all of the female staffers. This is Tulsi Gabbard. There was another lady too, and there were like 3 people in the panel. They all started laughing because like he will stop everything, and if you showed up late to the whatever, did you get something to eat? Get her something to eat, you know, and then he knows all the best dishes in the hotels, obviously, and whatever. It was just, and she was communicating about, and if you look at Trump supporters, like they love dude. You know what I'm saying? They love him, and so. The idea, people used to be hostile, right-wingers used to be hostile to the concept of the nanny state and all that, but then there's another side where it's like, both of those figures are being engaged that way. They're not being engaged as politicians. They're being engaged as, there's a paternalistic angle to it. And so like when you look at these lyrics, it's like, damn, the vast majority of the time, with the power that they have, America has generally not been good to its children, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was really interesting. The state as a parent, all I think of as a Protestant is that's terrible, that's horrible, blah blah blah. But at the same time, it's like, well, your Protestant forefathers put that as part of honoring your father and your mother.
That's
so
interesting. Okay.
very, very interesting. All right. So I'm gonna give this is my favorite song so far. I'm gonna give this one a 9.2.
This is 8.7 for me.
This band is starting to creep up, but I don't know because this was more of a conventional song, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So we'll see. Okay, coming right up, guys. We're gonna have a few more songs.
We have more Swan coming from you.
We have a live version coming up next after the commercial.
Oh, this joint's live? Okay. Check my melody. I'm Vin.
I'm sorry.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
They do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSorry. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sorry and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed, and Charles shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. Shout out to the big homie, Patrick Mahomes, who yesterday completely settled the GOAT debate once and for all. There is a GOAT. His name is Tomas Edward Patrick Brady in this bitch.
There it is.
Game over.
It's been figured out now. There can be no more questions about it.
Don't make me expose you to them folks who don't know you.
But this is not about Tom Brady. This is about another great, another GOAT. That is DJ Gabe. DJ Gabe has brought us an entire night full of the band Swan. Oh, Swans with a number with a little S on the end.
Swans.
Okay, so the name of the song that we're doing is All Lined Up, and this is the live version that we have here. So let's check it out.
The Swans.
I will take
Kwanzaa.
that timestamp.
You got a lot of money.
Yeah,
I'm
so
gonna
can you
put
pass
that
me
bullet on ya.
Well, there it goes.
When
There
I
it
was
goes.
young, I dated a girl named Anya. She was from Russia. Everybody wanted to touch her. But I ain't gonna say that part. I'm gonna pay for that later on. So I ain't gonna say nothing.
All right, ready? Swans
Shout
all
it
lined
out.
up. Let's do it.
Swans all lined. Is that the name?
All lined up.
I see them all lined up. Oh, okay. Copenhagen. Let's do it. I'm gonna flip. I can't hear shit. Turn it up.
Something happening.
Okay, we're good.
Children at the wall. The skin is hanging off some shoes. This place is painted like a hole. The blood is shining in the sun. My wounds are powdered with white sand. My lips are shaping silent words. My name as it spills. I'm walking on chained by laughing girls. I see them sucking on the dirt. Everything hell in the whole world. One by one I slow to each one sings his choking me. Each one sings his lullaby. Far too long. Into my life. And the sun begins to see behind a wall of dirty air. I see your bones there in the fire. Taste the smell of burning. All the children howl. The rain spits down and I see you running through the field. Running for your youth. I feel you choking on. Feel your breath attack your chest. The dogs are ripping at your feet. I see you bleed. bleeding out your and I feel good. I feel fine. I feel good. Finally got back what was always right. Thank you, that was for my mother.
Oh my God! You hear what he just
Your
said?
mother?
He said, "Thank you. That was from my mother." He's got a very interesting relationship with the women in his life, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting, bro. It's your mom? Okay, all right.
It's so weird because he doesn't like the headbanging thing, and I wonder if that's because he doesn't want people like getting into the beat like that. He wants you to just be miserable. Like, don't wag your head around.
Well, I don't know if he wants him to be miserable. I don't know, like, how he interprets.
Yeah.
Like what?
That was just like theory, you know. I don't know.
What does he think headbanging? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, he grabs the people's hair. He said it was detestable or something.
Yeah, but like the thing about this band is like they're so avant-garde that when they do something conventional, like your mind is like, yes, give that to me. That's great. Whereas like if you would have started out that way, it'd have been like, ho hum. But because like you got to kind of earn the little endorphin kick.
Yeah.
That metal gig. It's an interesting philosophy. I ain't gonna lie.
So
It's
you're
not-
on something not miserable but focused.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
fact that he dedicated this song to his mother is not very. That doesn't give me a lot of hope for this guy's life.
And like what
I
he
see
was
them all
saying-
lined up like naked children at the wall. Their skin is hanging off in sheets. Each face is painted like a horde. Their blood is shining in the sun. Their wounds are powdered with white salt. Their lips are shaping silent words. I see my name as it spills out. I see them walking on their knees, led and chained by laughing girls. I see them sucking on the dirt as if inhaling the whole world. And one by one their throats are cut, and each one sings his choking song, and each one sings his lullaby, and each one falls, and then he's gone. He's not having a good time.
Yeah.
He's not having a good time.
Yeah.
And then at the end he
He
dedicates that
says,
to,
and I feel good. Is
he
the next line.
dedicates that to his mother.
Point that out. Literally, the next line is, "And I feel good." You're like, he's not having a good time.
And shout out to all my kids. I hope y'all never write no songs like this. They're gonna be like, I knew Vin was a psychopath. That is insane. That's an interesting. That is an interesting song to dedicate to your mother.
Yeah.
That's a really interesting song to dedicate to your mother. What's going on
What
with
do you
you?
make of it? I mean, the song is, this is not like a song that, you know, caters itself towards the females. I really don't have a lot to say about it. Like, I don't even know what, like, my mind won't hold enough of the information of the song to be able to create a story, because every time I read something I'm like, oh my gosh, what? The children, then the skin, then there's just too much stuff. So like,
I see their bodies in the pyre.
what are we talking about?
Leaking
What's
black
the overall...
smoke into the flames, and all the people standing around shaping lips into my name. So,
because he's the one that's putting this on everybody.
he might be the kid in the pyre. He might be having an out-of-body experience. And soon the sun begins to sink behind the wall of dirty air. I see their bodies there in the
Oh, wait a
pile.
minute. What if...
A taste of burning.
What if this has to... Okay, this is a stretch maybe. Could this be like, again, when they're doing their shows, I see them all lined up like naked children at the wall. Their skin is hanging off in sheets. Each face is painted like a whore. You know, people will paint up their faces before they go, and then also get sunburned at those things. Or do you think that's too much of a stretch? Their blood is shining in the sun. Their wounds are powdered with white salt. Because you would be sweating, and then the sweat would dry.
Yeah, but their wounds are powdered with... Think about it. You know the phrase salt in the wound?
Yeah.
It says their wounds are powdered by white salt. And he's still going with the whole, their face painted like a whore.
Yeah.
So like, powder is like makeup. So it's like the blood is the lipstick, and then the salt in the wound is the makeup type of thing. See what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. I thought this might be about their fans. And then when he says, I see them walking on their knees led into chains by laughing girls, that it was basically like how they can get the crowd to do what they want. I see them.
But why would he characterize himself as laughing girls, though?
I don't know. Yeah, that didn't really make any sense. Yeah.
I mean, he dedicated it to his mom.
Yeah.
So it's something about the relationship between, him and his mom somehow. I mean...
Okay, all right. Maybe his mother, this is getting crazier. Maybe his mother says, hey, when you go out there, have them do this, this, and this. And so they're back watching the show, and they're laughing because the crowd is led by chain by what they say.
Yeah, it just looks to me like you don't want the mom to be the evil villain in this story.
Well...
And you're finding some way to put it back on the guy.
I don't want it to be real children naked on the wall and
I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real children either.
Oh,
I just
what do you
think
think
that
it is?
I think that's the kind of environment that she created in his life, and he's dealing with the ramification of it. That's all. Mm-hmm. He says, "I see my name." As it spills out, I see them walking on their leads, led by change by laughing girls. I see them sucking on the door. It's really interesting. Maybe he's saying like his mom never really grew up. And she kind of got stuck in like this permanent adolescence. And if you have a mother like that, you've seen it, extremely destructive. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think that the choking songs are when their throats?
Well, I mean, he's the one that makes the songs, and I think he's saying that the basis of his art has a lot to do with his upbringing, particularly his mother. So I think the songs are coming out, but they're choking because that's what he had to endure that created the song in the first place. So that's kind of how I interpreted that.
Wow.
But, I was like, oh, wow, this
They're
is very...
all saying his name.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a very interesting situation. Like, this is I ain't gonna say that. Shout out to my mom. But if things go bad with your mom and you're a dude, like, it's particularly difficult, I think.
Yeah, I never realized the importance of the role of a mother with a son. Like you would hear like the negative side of it, like they're too tight to her apron strings and stuff, like phrases like that.
Yeah.
Mama's boy.
Yeah.
It's not really spoken of positively, and like you'll hear that a daughter doesn't have her father's attention, that she has daddy issues and stuff like that. So you hear if the dad's not around, what happens to the daughter. So I always knew that those.
It's funny. I've never met a female that didn't have daddy issues.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of degrees.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because everybody's a sinner, so.
It makes you pause though as a father and be like,
where are your misses? Yeah.
Because I don't think that that's necessary. I don't think that I don't think every girl has daddy issues, and I don't think every dude has mommy issues.
Well, I think that that is one of the ways that, you know, husband and wife as parents can work together. Because like there were times where if my father was being too harsh, my mother would soften it a little bit. And then, that is one thing that I remember about them, that when it came to discipline, as long as they weren't on the opposite sides of that did happen. But there were most times where they were in lockstep with each other. And when they both came and they both said something about, it just seemed more like, okay, it was almost like a decree at that point, where before it seemed optional. So, yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say about that.
Yeah, well, and see, each one sings his choking song, and each one sings his lullaby.
Yeah.
And each one falls, and then he's gone. So.
Oh, that was it. The parents being able to, help the kids if they're both listening, like the missing spot with like the girls or whatever.
Yeah, but like.
If you have two parents, you might see it better.
See, he says, I see them all lined up like naked children on the wall. Their skin, there, right?
Yeah.
And then it says, it goes from there to my, right?
Oh.
I see my name as it spills out.
Yeah.
But then, led and changed by laughing girls, I see them sucking on the dirt, and one by one their throats are cut, and each one sings his choking song, and each one sings his lullaby, and each one falls, and then he's gone. So, the naked children lined up against the wall are male children. He's one of them, and the people leading him are females. They're girls.
Yeah.
And the victims are boys.
Yeah,
so
what's happening?
Well, it just tells me that he's probably had an abusive upbringing with his mother.
So then you're going back to that theory.
And he's probably using the plural for girls or whatever to camouflage it. And so, like, unless he says at the end of that song, that was from my mom, you wouldn't have known. But now that he said, that was from my mom, now I'm going to say, okay, so then your mom are these little girls and all the little boys are you. Or maybe he had brothers. I don't know if this guy had brothers. Because that happens at times too, where the mom will take out all their whatever on the boys, on the male children, especially if the male children looks like the dad or whatever. Shout out to my mom, rest in peace to the homie, but my God, she was horrible. But like, there was just things that she didn't understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are things where, like, 'cause she was so, like, you're with me or against me type thing, that, like, she didn't understand, like, yeah, but that's my dad, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And she didn't really grow up with her parents either, and, you know, she made it out, became a very successful person and all this, so that was kind of her philosophy. Like, we don't need anybody in our extended family. We just got us, we're good. But, and so because of that, she didn't have a lot of nice things to say about my father, and like she wasn't putting it together like, well, maybe that wouldn't be a good idea.
I thought that the line down there, the third one from the bottom, was I liked the way he worded it. So the person is running and he's chasing him down. He says, I feel you choking on your tongue. Then he says, I feel your breath attack your chest. I loved that picture. It was poetic, but it also like drew a very clear picture of what it feels like when you need more air and you're running. And usually you think of like, I don't know, like you're gripping your chest and you're like sort of like holding it, but like the way he worded it, you picture like inside your lungs, it's attacking out instead of the attack being almost like in. It was just an interesting picture of the breath attacking your chest.
Yeah, I took that one to mean when he says, I see you choking on your tongue, I feel your breath attack your chest. They're just, if you have an abusive parent or adopt, whatever you want to call it, there are things you cannot say.
Yeah.
There are expressions that if you express them, you're going to pay a price for it. And my other two brothers were fine with that. They're like, oh, this is where we're at in the cycle. And so they'd just be quiet. They wouldn't say anything. And it got to the point where it's like literally she wouldn't say anything. She would just come down the steps. We'd all be watching wrestling and all this and making all the noise and having fun like boys do. And then she'd be at the top of the steps and come down. Everybody would be quiet. Everybody just stop talking.
They didn't know what type of...
And I remember one day I just lost it. And I said, what the fuck? What do we do? We're just watching. Why is everybody quiet all of a sudden? Seems like I couldn't keep it in my chest. Like, so that's kind of that moment is where he says, I feel you choking on your tongue. I feel your breath attack your chest. The dogs are ripping at your feet. I see you bleeding out your happiness. Yeah, like that's how I looked at it. Like, I didn't really look at it as a happiness thing because like I decided a lot earlier, very early in my life, like, bro, you're never gonna be happy. Like, it's just never gonna happen for you. But so I said, okay, if I'm not chasing that anymore, I can't believe I was making these calculations when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I said, okay, if I'm not gonna be happy, then because I soon realized that you can't really control that emotion. You know what I'm saying? Something good would happen around the house. Maybe folks are getting along. It's like everybody felt happy, and it was like the fucking Brady Bunch. And then the next day it'll be blah, 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 guns, all type of shit. So I deduced very early, like, okay, this is not gonna happen for you. So then I thought to myself, well, shit, what can I control? And then it was like, I'm not gonna be a bitch. That's it. So my mom come downstairs. You know what I'm saying? She would have her little attitude, whatever. And I just keep talking like nothing happened. And it created a lot of conflict between, you know, I mean, she ended up kicking me out eventually. But that's kind of where the song brought me. You know, it was 3952 Seton Avenue. I still remember that place. That shit's crazy to me, bro. But
Wow.
yeah, it was a very, very interesting journey looking at the lyrics of the song and then him saying that about his mom and then re-looking at him again. I'm like, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love my mom. You know, she had a hell of an upbringing. I haven't even told you, like, a quarter of the stuff.
Oh, wow.
That she
Went through.
yeah. And the way she decided she was going to handle stuff is almost exactly the way I decided I was going to handle stuff. And I just think that mirror image for her was, you know, too much type of thing. I also think, like, she wanted me to not give up on being happy and hopeful in life. You know, the only one that was really like that was my little brother. Like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be happy, blah, blah, blah. You being dumb, blah, blah, blah. Well, I guess you're happy now, bro. Guess you're happy now. Yeah, man, that was a deep song. This dude he's got a very interesting way of expressing himself. I used to do that too as a kid. Like, I used to write shit, and my mom wasn't one of these parents like, I'm gonna respect your boundaries type thing. She was gonna. So I used to have to write everything in code. See what I'm saying? So I don't know. Interesting. The song's it's oddly a tough song for me. I'm gonna give this one a solid 9.
6.9 for me.
R.I.P. Don and Vadney. I'm gonna check you real soon. He was wrong for a lot of shit, but I'll see you real soon. All right, commercial break. We'll be right back there, listener. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sorry says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at itsorry@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft.
What?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/VinandSori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed, a shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener, yes, dear listener. Yes, Mr. Kite ends with you. Next song.
What we have here is another song for the big homie DJ Gabe.
Hey, I really like
he
that picture.
is going through the different, this one, the album cover?
Yeah.
Okay. He's going through a bunch of Swans songs with us. The next one on the list is called, here you go, Vincent. The next one on the list is called Blind.
Kai, get this man, Danny Trujillo wants to join the Discord. So if you've got the Discord thing, let him know.
Okay, you get through the Discord.
Or is it that's a Patreon thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Danny, go to a. You can get in there for $1 though.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Reach out to one of the leaders and they'll explain it to you. It's $1 thing on Patreon, and you get jumped into the Discord. I have made appearances in that Discord, but a lot of times they put me on read-only mode, so I can't even say anything. I'm like, what y'all doing? But it's cool because I'll be sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, this thing's talking shit. Oh, okay. I see how it is. All right, go ahead.
Okay, Blind. I sent that to you, and I'm going to send you the lyrics. Yeah, I'm ready to go when you are, so just send me. I mean, not send me. Tell me the timestamp. That's all I need.
Timestamp is 2:25. Just do 2:25 state.
Got it.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Blind, not Korn's Blind, but we'll have to deal. Blind is a song, dear listener.
Let's Go by the band Swan for Gabe.
Is it
DJ
Swans
Gabe.
or Swans
with
singular?
an S. Look, you're about to put that little album cover up to show you, but it's Swans with an S.
Wow.
That is not what I expected.
Now some of us are weak, and some endure. Some people live their life with a violence that's pure and clean. But I saw a man cry once, down on his knees, in the corner of a darkened cell, and his pain meant nothing to me. But I was younger then, and young men never die. When I walked out in the sun, I was strong, clear-minded, and blind. Now don't say a prayer for anyone, it doesn't do any good. Please don't ask me a question, you'll just be misunderstood. And if you could step inside me, you'd feel what hatred brings. And if you saw with my eyes, you'd see what self-deception means. I was younger once, and I created a lie. Though my body was strong, I was self-deluded, confident and blind. some pity for the weak of will. Because when we're drinking, we can never be filled. Show some understanding for the lonely fool. Because when I am drinking, I am out of control. I was never young, and nothing has transpired. And when I look in the mirror, I feel dead, I feel cold. I am blind. I am blind.
Wow. That was a good one.
Another good song from this guy.
That was a really good
This
one.
guy is probably the most tortured person I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
He sounds. I love him. He sounds genuinely miserable. Okay. Go ahead. What you got there?
Yeah, I just liked this one. Like, it had that slow. It was interesting because it kind of felt country-ish.
Really?
Yeah.
It still had that typo negative vibe to me, though.
I could see that, but yeah, it definitely had, like, for me, it had a sort of country. And then he, lyrically, sonically, the way that he was singing it, it just kind of, like, made you feel like, sit down and listen to what I'm going through. And then as you progress through the song, it was like, sit down, listen to what I'm going through, and see if you also feel some of this. But verse 1, he says, now some of us are weak, and some endure, and some people live their life with a violence that's pure and clean. But I did not understand that part, so I'm hoping you can kind of break into that. I have thoughts about a lot of the other stuff, but that beginning, obviously, some are weak, some endure. We're just talking about different types of people.
Well, I think he's talking about the way people deal with life or bad situations.
Okay.
And he says the weak ones.
Oh, that's an interesting way.
The weak ones are people who just endure it, right? Some of us are weak and some endure, and some people live their life with a violence that's pure. So it's like, I am not gonna react to a situation by saying I just need to endure this. Some people react by saying I'm going to crush this. And so it's a pure violence, it's a good violence, and it's clean because it's saying I'm not just gonna let life happen to me and be a reactionary at life. Like I'm not gonna like survive. I'm gonna go out and thrive, and that takes a certain kind of violence. And Jesus had a version of this. He says that he said the kingdom of God has been advancing till now, and violent men take it by force. And that's almost universally interpreted. That kind of violence is almost universally interpreted as positive. So there are positive forms of violence depending on,
as well as Jesus with the cord at the outside of the temple.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of metaphysical violence in the New Testament, where Paul says, those who have been renewed in Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its wants and desires.
Yeah.
Where Paul says, I am crucified with Christ. I mean, that's not a nice frilly picture. That's a horrible picture. But like the enmity and the hatred that you have to have against somebody to crucify them, Paul is saying that's how he views his sinful nature. It's like, you gotta be a really ruthless person to crucify somebody and leave them up there for days so that birds can eat out their eyes and dogs can snack on their legs. Like, it's hard. And Paul is saying that kind of one-sided, one-directional hate and violence, that's how I'm treating my sinful nature. So even at a Christian standpoint, like, that happens, right? Where you got some people that kind of like play around, oh, this is sinful, and you got other people that are like dead serious about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that I was thinking about, there's a verse in the Bible that talks about, like, if your right eye causes you to sin, like, gouge it out. You know, same thing with your hand. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. And it just sounds so extreme, you know? It's like, oh my gosh, like, this, they're talking about cutting off your limbs? What? But it goes along with the Christian message that this body and this life is not the primary thing. We operate under the premise that there is a spiritual realm that's active now, and we don't necessarily see it. I think that people tap into it sometimes in different ways. I think that when people take different types of mushrooms or whatever, and they go and experience like these different creatures and stuff, I think that that's like you've said before, the sort of backdoor experience to getting to the spiritual realm, but it's not
it's not pure.
Right, it's not pure. And so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm enjoying these selections, Gabe. Not in the I'm enjoying it sense, but this guy, I relate a lot to him, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
I saw a man cry once down on his knees in the corner of a darkened cell, and his pain meant nothing to me. So I guess he did. He spent some time in a jail, and he observed the dude crying.
Yeah.
But because he didn't have those life experiences, it was hard for him to relate to the crying and all the rest of it. And I find that happening a lot, like, especially when I was in Maine. That happened to me so many times. Like, people were so upset that somebody said something about them. They would have really, like, this is trivial, but, like, I'm like, well, nobody's trying to kill you, like, you know? And, like, to this day, like, I get called out for it all the time. My friends online, the internet, they're like, yo, why did you have to say it like that? I don't care about the delivery. You know what I'm saying? But they're like, yeah, you don't care about the delivery, but I do. And so it's like,
that's why that verse says the truth with kindness. You're not supposed to just come out with the truth.
And speaking the truth in love, yeah.
But the version I was reading says with kindness. So, I mean, you're not supposed to throw out the truth. Like, the truth already has the ability to pierce through stuff, and we can take the truth and make a comedy show out of it, and like we all laugh when we see the truth in that context. But there are other elements of truth that they pierce our souls, and so I think that when you're saying something that's, I'm not sure what these discussions are, but my assumption is you're talking to them about some of their
what verse is that? The truth of kindness. I don't know.
It must have been the truth in kindness.
There's one in Ephesians and there's one in John where it says the law came through Moses, but grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. Where Paul says, speaking the truth in love to the Ephesians.
It might be that one, and it might have been just, let me just... Why? Is it, you're like, is there one that says kindness?
I've never heard of that combo. But it could be, it could just be
It might have been what I was reading as I like dug deeper and didn't really...
Yeah, I saw grace and truth in John 1. I think it's Ephesians 5 or 6.
It might be.
See, there's Ephesians 4.
Yeah, but it might be that, like what you're saying, where it's talking about, but grace and truth came from Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the law came through Moses.
Yeah, maybe that's where I was getting the kindness part of it. I'm not sure.
Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. Well, I mean,
because grace. The reason that he's saying grace and truth is because truth has it can be painful, but the grace makes it like, okay, like for instance, when the father shows up to Eve and he tells her, well, now you're getting kicked out of the garden, you're gonna have pain in your childbearing, like all of these curses are coming at her, but then that's the truth. You disobeyed and you tried to get wisdom going in through that back door, that spirituality through the back door instead of coming the way that I was going to show you. So then, she ends up in that situation, but then he's you see what I'm saying? He brings with it some grace where he's saying, okay, but from you is going to come someone that's going to crush the head of the serpent. So that's a little bit more spread out than I thought. I thought it was literally said truth and kindness, but maybe it was the truth. I mean, truth and love is still.
One of the guys that I follow it's very interesting. He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
He's like a clinically diagnosed psychopath.
Right.
Because of that, he can't feel the things that other people feel. So he does Islamic apologetics, and because he's a psychopath, he's not afraid to die. So he says like the most offensive things about Islam, and he doesn't care. And they threaten to kill him. He doesn't care. Well, his son had leukemia or something and died, and so the Muslims, of course, started mocking him, mocking his sons and his son's death and everything. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care. I mean, he's in heaven. I mean, what's there to cry?" And he's dead serious. He just doesn't feel it. I believe him. I mean, I talked to this dude like on the side.
Yeah.
And like he really doesn't.
Yeah.
He really doesn't know why people are upset about the things that they're upset about. And I'm like, damn. And so it's like, I'm having conversations, and then I think to myself, like, oh, the way I'm looking at this dude is the way that maybe a trans person is looking at the way that they're being engaged and how they feel. And yeah, there's a lot of self-centered focus in that community, which I've talked about a million times, but it kind of makes you stop and say to yourself, like, having that guy in my life and watching how he reacts to stuff, I'm like, that's how a lot of people with certain political persuasions are. They're like, what's the problem? And these people are like, well, they're going to jump off a bridge if you do XYZ. And they're like, oh, they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And so then, like, you look at it and it's like, yeah, but like, is everything truthful supposed to be packaged in this thing so that a person can accept what I have to say in a nice way?
Well,
there are going to be some things that are never going to be absorbed in a positive way, no matter how much sugar you put on it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it really makes you check yourself, because you're like, how do you know that you're not coming off like a psychopath to these people?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, the inability to feel what the other person's feeling, because I've never been in that situation, to me is extremely valid. And I mean, I'm only a good byproduct of losing people, but I'd get fucked up for weeks if I saw, a school shooting or this or that, or this person died in some tragic way. But ever since my brother died, it hasn't been like that anymore. So I'm grateful for that. I watch this stuff and I'm just like everybody else now. Like before, I used to see that shit. It used to fuck me up. There was I forgot what happened. It was a mass shooting. It's like 6 people died. I was in a chat somewhere. They're like, thank God it was only 6 people. I went ballistic. I'm like, what the fuck? All those phone calls, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I mean, ever since I lost my brother, like that shit didn't affect me like that anymore at all. The switch is off. So now I'm watching it. I'm like everybody else. I'm like, okay, well, geez, at least, I got that out of the situation. But yeah, I used to be all, I mean, you guys see it. Every time there's a shooting, I go crazy. Plane crash, I go crazy. It's like, now I'm like, yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's terrible, but I keep it moving like everybody else. And it's a much better feeling. It's a much better feeling. So shout out to the homie for doing that, I guess. But I'm not going to say people's pain doesn't mean anything to me anymore, because like, I just understand it more of an intellectual sense. Like, this person lost this person, obviously they're going to feel some pain. I used to feel it before I used to think it. Like, I used to feel those people's situations before I think about them. I think about them. Now I think about them, I don't feel anything. So, I mean, if the person was in front of me and said my dad died in a whatever, of course I'd give him a hug, whatever. But like, the shit used to torture me, and it doesn't anymore. And then on top of that, I used to be tortured by the fact that everybody around me was fine. Like, they see the same report I'm seeing and they were fine. So I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So yeah, that's a positive, I think. That's a positive. But at the same time, like, you don't want to go like too far. I don't want to be like destroyed by this stuff, but I don't want to be like shrug shoulders about it either. You know what I'm saying? But part of me is kind of like, I don't know, man. My mom helped thousands and thousands of people. When she died, there was like 8 people there.
Here, though.
My brother.
Here, though, but
my
we
brother,
don't believe that it ends there. Do you know how many people welcomed her?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I'm like arguing about. It's not like an argument I just have. It's just something I observe. Like, oh, okay. Like, she did all this shit for everybody, and now she's dead, and there's 8 people that even know she was alive. My brother, like, you know, and so I was like, fuck it. No, cool. All right. So it's a lesson that I learned, and it's nothing that I'm gonna stop. It was just, that was it. So yeah, I mean, it's empathy. Empathy is a very, very important trait.
It's kind of similar.
But so is water, you know? And water could save your life or water could kill you. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But go ahead, what were you saying?
It kind of reminds me of when somebody gets like a serious injury and you don't feel the pain of it because it's like there's that shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like that your soul or something is responsible.
I'm not in shock though. I'm a pretty internalized person. Like, I'm pretty familiar with the interior, and a lot of times I'll get pictures about what's going on, and there was just a switch. There was no fight. There's not a lot of thinking. Yeah. It was just. So yeah, R.I.P. Jamie. I guess good for you, bro. But see, and the chorus says, "But I was younger then, and young men never die. When I walked out into the sun, I was strong, clear-minded, and blind." Yep.
Yeah.
My little brother used to say, he'd say, if we were all in a plane crash, I would live because I'm a survivor. I used to get so mad at him because my mom was like, I felt that my mom preferred him over me, you know, which, so that shit used to piss me off, you know, but then I'm like, man, you a bitch. You the scariest one here. Like, you'd be the first one to die, nigga. Shut up. You know, like, he's like, you always gotta say some mean shit, man. But, yeah. But when you're young, like, that's how you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're young, you think that, you know?
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's crazy. But, yeah, I lost him. I don't think that way anymore. So, yeah, when you get, I've seen a lot of crazy stuff in my life, so I'm still trying to process, like, why that had such an effect on me. You know, I think my mom, like, that made a lot of sense to me, and I got to say goodbye to her. My brother, like, makes absolutely no sense to me. I'm still shocked about it. But, yeah. I used to go in the bathroom and turn on the shower thing and just, like, hear of school shooting or hear this or hear that or whatever, and like I would be like, man, I'd ask God to like take this away from me. Let me be like everybody else in the world. And well, he answered my prayer. So, you know, it is what it is. But I feel a lot more stable now though, because like, you know, those things are happening every day in our country. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's happening every day. So it's like my entire being is going to be contingent on whether or not a psychopath picks up a weapon and kills somebody. Like, ridiculous. Y'all had that shit figured out a lot earlier than I did.
Which version do you think bears his image more? When you would be out for the count for weeks, or this version?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think about those things. You know, like, I just think about the fact that the world just goes on. So that's it. It just goes on. It just goes on like those people. And that's why he said earlier in the song, like, the government convinces me that I exist or whatever. But the fact of the matter is there's like 8 billion people on the planet. Most of them do not exist to us. We don't know their names. We don't know anything. They're all NPCs. So it's like, you know, what are you doing? But now it's like, you know, I'd hear somebody, then I go on Facebook, I look at their family, I look at this, I look at that, I'm like, oh, wow, this person. I look at what they were talking about, they're arguing over dumb shit, or they like, oh, look at this, and you see your personality, and then I go into the comment section, see their comment because I want to get some of their personality. Like, I don't do that anymore at all. I have no interest in seeing those people. I don't care. So, all I could say is it makes for a more functional person. You know, there's been a lot of national tragedies in the last 6 months, and I talk about them, but they don't affect me the way they used to. So, you know, that's the only positive I can see about the whole situation. But he's talking about, like, it seems like his starting point was on where I am now. So he figured it out a lot early, and he's like, his pain meant nothing to me. And a lot of people, you could look at that as like, oh man, you're cold, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, the reality is most people's pain doesn't mean anything to most of us. And you see that like out in politics, like, you know, you'll have a woman, and she'll talk about, you know, why she's pro-choice because she was sexually assaulted. And then your side, our side is going to say, I mean, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck? He's like, you know, basically you're a whore and you know, you got drunk at a party and now you're pregnant and now you're going to make this child pay the price for your whoredom and all this stuff. And it's like no understanding whatsoever about this girl, her background, where she came from, why she made the choices that she made, why she thinks that this choice is the best choice for her.
Yeah.
How much or how little support she had.
Yeah.
All those things like don't get factored in. What got factored in is you're on that team, you're with the enemy. I don't give a fuck how you feel. What happened to you is not a justification for what you're about to do to this child, and and on it goes. And then I've seen people on the other side where you have people say, yeah, my mother tried to abort me and now I'm permanently disabled. And like literally people were laughing at it. And I'm like, I never want to be that person. But I also am glad I'm no longer the person that's tormented by imagery and, oh, there's this happening to this child right now in New York City. Like, that used to fuck me up, man. So, like, I'm glad, you know what I'm saying? But when you step out of that and you see, like, both sides are like, there is a, I can't relate to you, therefore I can't feel your pain, and I'm not going to enter into your pain.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to say you're a whore. Or I'm going to say you're a misogynist, patriarchalist. You got a guy outside of an abortion clinic on Father's Day begging his girl not to kill his child. And all the abortion people can do is say, she is not your baby-making mechanism, blah, 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 blah. Completely ignoring the fact that this guy named this kid, felt him kick, all type of shit. And now because they had a fight, she's going out here to kill that child. And you got pro-choicers laughing at the dude and actually turning him into the bad guy.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Saying
like, she's not your baby-making machine. Or like people have completely lost empathy, man. They completely lost empathy. And I'm living in a world where nobody has any empathy for anybody. So, it's not one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to agree. It's just like, I feel so much better not having to carry that weight anymore. To get to be like everybody else and be like, well, I agree here, I disagree here. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's a net positive for me.
Weep with those who weep. And then, you know, we have Jesus saying, come to me, all you who are weak and heavy laden, and I'm going to give you rest. So, there's a way within the realm where,
I mean, you've been doing it fine.
Yeah, I do it differently though. Like it doesn't put me out for weeks. You know what I mean? Like I'll see something and I'll see something, and if it affects me, because not everything will, but which is one of the reasons why I stay off Twitter, is because when I went on, like I just saw so much. It was just like being bombarded. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, if it does affect me, I pray about it, and then I move on. Sometimes there will be stories that kind of like keep coming back, and then that's my new policy with it. But I mean, when he started out the song and he said that thing about the guy in the corner of the cell, like it reminded me of like, you know, like when you're young or when you're naive or when you have not experienced pain yourself, and then you just, like you know, you were saying before, but you downplay the pain of other people. But I think that, you know, one of the things that you see as a mother is right now 2-year-old, he like runs around, and if he gets anything that makes his foot hurt at all, he immediately thinks he got glass in his foot, and he wants you to search his foot, and he'll keep yelling, "Glass! I said glass!"
He did have it though.
Well, he did. Yeah, he did that.
The
one
one that
time,
I did
right?
with him.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
See, he does. Yeah, he did have it, but then there's a lot of times where there's nothing. He just, you know, he bumped it or whatever. But yeah, like you just.
He's talking about Senny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I keep losing my train of thought when
he had
we
glass
say
in his
something
foot.
else. Yeah, but I was going somewhere before that. I guess it was the. Oh, right. So when you're looking at him, or a kid who stubs their toe, it's the end of the world for them. Like now, as an adult, if you stub your toe, you're frustrated, but you don't bawl your eyes out for it.
Right.
Like it's degrees of pain, and I think that pain sort of like stretches us in a way, and like it opens something inside, and it has to get filled with something. I don't know. It's weird. So. It's a loose thought. I've got actually a lot more thoughts on it, but it's too much to go into right now. But I think that just like I said, seeing the kids, and you see like, okay, it's on a continuum. So when he's looking at the guy in the cell, he doesn't have an understanding of what that's like. But we don't need to understand what it's like to be sitting in the cell. But if we can take the concept of pain, and then we can apply it to other people in their situations and say, okay, I don't know how deep they're feeling that pain, but it is pain to them, and I know what pain is to me, and so they're feeling something like I feel to a varying degree.
Yeah.
And then weep with those who weep, or rejoice with those who rejoice. But yeah, when he said that, I was like, yeah. And then he said, when I was younger then, young men never die. When I walked out in the sun, I was strong, clear-minded, and blind. Like that whole, you know, looking at the bright side, or being naive and not realizing like how the world is or how things can be.
Yeah, it's just not understanding your own mortality.
Not understanding your own mortality, or the
it says young men never die.
Dark shadow in all of us, I think. And
I had no illusions about the dark shadow in me, but when he says young men never die, that's why you sign up.
I see.
That's why you sign up for, you know, jihad in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
You know, like
that part was crazy when he said, and you could, you'll just be, if you could step inside me, you'd feel what hatred brings. So he's saying like all this that I just described, like this is what happens with.
Yeah, it's deep.
Yeah.
And I relate to this dude a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, I'm down with the homie. There's a 9.4 for me. I really like the lyrics of this song.
9.2 for me on this one. I think we still have one more song.
We do? Okay,
we
good.
do. The Sound is up next. So
yeah,
we're gonna hit
this band, like
this commercial.
Very interesting. Very interesting band. I'm actually gonna try to track this guy down and talk to him. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. All right, we're gonna miss the commercial. We're gonna go right to it. Do we have any updates for the song?
Into Swans, The Sound. Nope. This
2:56:30 for the timestamp.
2:56:30. Okay, this song is the last one for us tonight, but I'm gonna send you the lyrics.
Okay.
Oh, whoa, the lyrics are very short. I didn't expect that. Uh-huh. Okay, guys.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Scroll up. Are you sure that's it?
Yeah. I will scroll up after.
I mean, that's a lot of lyrics, though. All right, guys. So here we go. We got one more song left. What's it called? The name of the band that we've been really deep diving on right now, they're called Swans. SWANS, as in Sam.
That's not the right one. It's just this, and I don't know why it copied it so many times. So ignore that one I just...
Okay. All right, so then we're going to have to change the timestamp then.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, yep, I'm ready.
All right, so do 2:57:25.
2:57. Okay. Got it.
All right, guys, here we
DJ
go.
Dave,
Swans. Evil pair himself.
Brings
Let's do
you
it.
Swans.
Swans, they say.
You despise what I love. You despise I love.
had a Alice in Wonderland
what's
vibe
that?
at the end.
What was that instrument at the end?
Yeah, I don't know. You know what it reminded me
sounds
of? Those
spooky as hell,
little,
boy.
you know, those little, you know, like if they've got a music box that's inside of a, music box that
Oh,
have a
the
jewelry
little-
thing. Like it sounded like a.
What do
It
they
sounded
call
like
that?
somebody was going fast with it.
What do they call that thing?
I don't know. I used to have one in my room. It played Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I remember, like, going super slow with it and, like, hearing how that sounded. And just, like, experiencing it's the same song at different speeds. And I thought it was so fascinating to, like, you know, go super fast with it and then slow it down and be like, this is the same notes, but it sounds so different depending on speed. But, yeah, when you start going real slow with it sounds really creepy. This relation, honest to goodness, if I was his mother, I'd be so uncomfortable because either he's crazy and she did nothing, or she actually did stuff to him. Like, can you imagine if it was just like he's crazy and then he was like putting on all these weird songs?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think he's crazy.
I don't think so either. I think that this is. I think
Or
I
I don't
wanted
think-
to protect the mother long enough. But
I don't think. Well, I'll say it this way. I don't think his mother being crazy and him being crazy are mutually exclusive. He's probably crazy. But you know, it's highly unlikely that if you grow up in a crazy environment that you yourself are going to be completely sane. See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's just.
Degrees again of.
It's just the relatability is killing me. Wide are your delusions. Deep red is a space behind your eyes, closed forever as a door to your room, but inside there lives the sound.
What do you think it means, the sound?
I just think that his mom, I think his mom got to a situation where her coping mechanisms kind of locked her away from the rest of the family. Which again, could be a lot of projection. But, you know, when my mom, things were getting really, really rough for her, she was a registered nurse. And so she had the strongest, heaviest shit known to man. Like the way those things were affecting her, I'm like, damn, she could have made a killing today. Because everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like she was, and you know, it kind of locked her away from all of us. Like the room, the door, you know, the door to her heart was kind of locked away from us after that. But like, I understand because she was trying to, you know, and I don't blame him, but people are they are, man. And my step-pops was who he was for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so she loved him, and you know, they never really were able to figure it out. But it had a really detrimental effect on her, and I think she, you know, she was self-medicating. It just so happened that she was self-medicating with some of the strongest shit known to man. And it made it so that we, you know, there's things that she wanted. There was a person she wanted to be, particularly relative to me, that she couldn't be. You know what I'm saying? You despise, but I love. You despise what I love. You despise, I love. You despise, I love. And wide are your delusions. A delusional thing, the first time I was somebody explained to me what delusion was. It was actually, they would have us see these counselors. And so there's this counselor named Bob who was all of our favorites. Definitely my older brother's favorite for sure. Because my older brother wouldn't talk to anybody, but he would talk to Bob. But Bob would talk about, he said something about delusional or something like that. I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, when you believe something about yourself that the rest of the world knows is wrong. That's what he told me. When you believe something about yourself that the rest of the world knows is wrong. So it's like, I'm going to be 6'3", you know what I'm saying? Whatever. It's like, bruh. And you really, really believe that. So he was talking about basically people being trapped in their own minds. I said, well, shit, how do you get out of that? And he says, you have to trust that the people around you can see, and if everybody around you is saying the same thing in a different way, that's your only ticket out. If you disregard all that shit, then he said there's no hope. I was like, damn. Okay. So that's why I've always tried to be like ruthless with myself after that conversation with Bob. I've always tried to like swing the other way so that whatever interpretation of my actions or myself, my being, I always try to interpret it in the harshest way possible. And then I watch how people react to certain things. And it really runs a scale. Most of the time, 90% of the time, the perception that people have is not as extreme as I am with myself. And so that's kind of a check and balance that I use to, you know, to guard myself. Because ever since he said that, I would always get paranoid that I was in that state. Because I was like, damn, I go so many places in my mind. I knew from a young age that my mind was like my ticket for whatever. And so I was terrified of the idea that a person's mind could lock them in a logical prison and they could never get out. So a lot of people interpreted it as negative self-talk, and maybe some of it was, but a lot of it really was based on that one conversation. And I'm sure if I could talk to him now, he'd probably be like, that's not really the point. But I don't know. That's why like self-awareness is a big thing for me. Like, because I was always paranoid about that shit. Because like, I'd see my mom and like I'd look at her and like there was some shit that was like obvious to everybody, but I'd look at her, I'm like, she really believes this shit. Like the shit she's saying, she really, really believes it. And so, yeah, man, that was always, and you know, like in the song, like he's got a break from his mother. You know what I'm saying? He said, I was wrong, I am wrong, you were wrong. I think what he's saying is that, you know, you despise, but I love. I think at the end of the day, he's like, there's some shit I should despise, actually. So you were right about that, but you're also wrong because the way that you applied it was just unhealthy and crazy. And I think that's a very, very mature way, or the healthiest way to look at those kinds of relationships. Instead of this black and white thing, like, do you really think that your mom was out there trying to make your life a living hell? Or was she already living in hell, and so she doesn't know what else to produce?
Yeah.
Those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
No, I agree with
and I think like that was also the thing with me with like relationships. Like that's why I was like how I carried on was my own responsibility. But I never wanted to be in a situation where like a female had me in a situation where my mom was in. Where you just can't let go of the person and all the rest of it, and you give them all of your years, and then so I observed all that and I'm like, I'm going the opposite way. I'm going to recently ran into somebody from my past. It brings a lot of love him to death, but it's kind of like he disappeared and I guess he was in prison the whole time. And like, it's weird with dudes in prison because he did like 16, 17 years. I'm like, fuck, man. And so he's stuck, and it's weird. Like his slang, everything is like when I was back there. You know what I'm saying?
Kidding.
So it's like this guy got stuck in some sort of time machine or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's weird to see that it's like an artifact from your past, but it's just interesting, like listening to him talk and thinking about his mindset and shit like that. Like, damn, dude. So you grow up realizing that, you know, your parents weren't as crazy as you thought they were.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand, like, okay, I was wrong about this, and that. And, you know, when you become an adult, especially when you have kids of your own, you start saying, what the fuck, Mom? That was crazy what you did. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's like, yo, I can't believe you said that to a kid. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, but then there's a whole bunch of shit that you say to your kid that my mom would never say.
That's the thing, yeah.
My mom would never say, you know, some of the things I've said and done, my mom would never do. So when you're a teenager, you think like, oh, parents fucked up, blah, blah, blah. When I have kids, blah, blah, blah. I was listening to this guy, God bless him. But he was talking about how he could create a better world than God. And so he's like, so he starts talking about like all this stuff like, our waste management system is by our reproductive system. That's not blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you fucking moron. Like, you really genuinely believe that you could come. Then how come we haven't come up with something then? How come we haven't come up with alternative life forms that, XYZ. If you know, there's a lot of complications to like doing that stuff. So like when you grow up and you become an adult, you start having kids of your own, and you start saying shit, you start doing shit, and you go, oh, okay, Ma, I'll give you that one. You were right. And then there are other things where I'm like, yo, this was worse than I thought it was as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, man, I mean, at the end of the day, all you have is your parents, man. At the end of the day, with your parents, like, you don't get to choose them. They are who they are, and you just got to accept them and love them for the, you know, the people they are, and be appreciative as long as you have them. I think is what I'm supposed to say. You know, I'm not going to go out and tell everybody, like, how I handle those situations, especially now, because I don't think, I don't, I don't think it's good, but it's making my life a lot easier. So, what did you think of the song?
Yeah, I mean, it just it's tough hearing him the mother eye part, and you know, it just definitely seems like she did a real number on this kid. And I think that, you know, parent-child relationships, like you said, I think that there are some genuinely bad people that their intent is to be bad, and they don't care, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We don't have child pornography for no reason at all. Like, there are bad people that, you know, but there a lot of times, like, you know, and then again, you know, it may seem like a cop-out, but this is where also, you know, you're born in sin helps you out, because you're like, okay, so everybody's gonna do that same thing. So whatever your parents did to you that messed you up, you're gonna end up doing something to your kids to mess them up, and they're gonna do something to their kids to mess them up. And then, but at the same time, like, all of that inadequacy that our parents bring to us, and that longing that they put in us from their misdirected or misguided approaches to things, I think is supposed to lead us to the only one that can really fill us. So your dad is not gonna be a perfect father, but that's because he's an image of the real father. So he's not going to do it perfectly, nor should he, because he's not God. And so that lack in your father is supposed to make you say, yeah, this can't be the actual real official father here. And then you're on a search and you find the ultimate father. So, but yeah, it's hard hearing people sing, like, especially like men. I kind of was saying this in one of the past reviews. Like, I didn't realize how important a son's relationship to his mother is. And I really didn't realize it until, this past year with Orion. He's 5 now, and just seeing, like, how he engages the world and different things that happen, I'm like, and there's times where he's like stressed out, and I'm like, okay, in the past I would have gotten stressed out too, because he's all stressed out, and then now you've worked me up, and now we're both stressed out. Now it's just like, you know, I just come to it with that moon approach, and I'm like, you know, we are the parents. We have to, like, de-escalate the situation and give them the help that they need. And one of the most important things for kids and everybody to know is that when you get stressed out and you get going too fast, you're going to make mistakes. So just slow down and figure out, you know, your way, or figure out your way out. But, you know, sometimes I think that parents are just so busy in their own worlds and their own lives that they don't really see what's going on with the kids. And in a sense, the kids become an NPC in their world. And the kids need an active parent who sees them and knows that they are being seen by their parent. And, you know, it's crazy, because if you look at the research, if a child is raised in the home of just a mother, or a child is raised in the home of just a father, they fare better in the homes of just the father than with just a mother. That was surprising to me. But yeah, it was hard, you know, hearing this and hearing him going on at the end. So, I would give this one. What are you giving this one?
There's a lot I'm not saying about this, so I'm gonna give this one a silent count for me.
Okay. This one was musically, like, just took you somewhere, you know, and I don't know, like, you were just, it was pretty interesting. I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna go with a 9.8. 9.9. 9.9.
Gabe said that was his favorite song. This joint.
Yeah,
from
it's a
from
good
this
one.
band.
It's a good one.
Yeah, this band has been. I feel like we've been here for like 5 hours. We haven't, but and it's not because it dragged along. It's just that the music just goes so many different places and from like
the vocal style
from like just noisy whatever to conventionally beautiful to what the hell was he doing?
Range.
Just makes it feel like we've been here for a lot longer than we have. But very interesting band. I'm gonna do my Facebook stalkerization and try to get this guy jammed up and have an interview with him. Also, Danny's got a good idea, and I'm not sure which platform we're going to use this on, but Danny was in a coma. He's agnostic. Just doing an interview with him and picking his brain.
Oh, yeah.
And he volunteered for it, so it's not something that I'm like, But, I wonder what platform that would, to put that on. I don't know if that's a Middle America conversation or if it's a what, because obviously there's a lot of intersections. A lot of intersections with politics in that discussion.
Yeah, you could actually see both, though. Like, it also goes along with atheism of the channel.
Yeah, we could resurrect the conversations with Vin and Sori thing. We had Aaron Raw. Aaron Raw did that little clip for us. I'll probably put that back in there, and we'll have conversations. Maybe we'll feature a villager a month or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
I don't know.
One of our patrons or something.
True. I think, we'd probably prioritize them. What's up? Hello from a Gen Xer in Northeast Ohio. Good to see you, John Smith.
Hello.
2046.
What's up in Ohio? Is it cold over there?
Check out Middle America with Vin and Sori, Mr. Gen Xer, because I think there's a lot of information in that channel that you'd be very interested. But come and welcome. Really, really good. Really good stuff. Very unique band.
So thank you, DJ Gabe, for giving us this night and for... He came in on the fly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I was like, if Vinny gets here in time, we'll be able to start.
He put it all together?
Yeah, and he
himself?
Yeah, he was doing all this afternoon, and then I was like, you got to send me new links. Some new links came.
They weren't working?
They were officials.
We had a 16-minute song. We had a 10.5-minute song.
No, 13. 16 and a 13.
A 16 and a 13. Yeah, it was legit, though.
But you didn't feel the length of them.
Not at all. Not at all. But at the same time, I feel like there was some... giant,
Interestingly enough, Power for Power felt longer.
Right.
Than those other ones.
Right. So that was probably the most unconventional and challenging. No scales, no nothing. What are you guys doing? All right, guys, much love to all you beautiful people.
Guys,
we will catch you at the other side of the break. Hope you'll get...
No, not the other side of the break.
A new
Tomorrow.
chance to talk with the main dude of Rotted
Tomorrow we have DJ Ben up, and he's going to be doing like a bunch of Slayer songs.
Shout out to... Oh, yeah. I need to shoot a video about that.
So come
ASAP.
through.
ASAP. Is the whole day going to be Slayer tomorrow?
I think he said mostly Slayer, so I don't know.
Blood from a lacerated sky. Clean my structure. Now I shower in blood.